Okay, are you ready? Okay. I don't have anything. Hello, everybody. Here we are again. We are back. We were just. Oh, now it's okay. Is it? All right. Let me greet a few people before we commence. Hello, Sister Shika, Omonike, Mary Odia, Raphael, Kennedy Festus, Mesonge, Abiola, Sister Abiola, Shao Smith. Welcome, welcome everyone. So nice to get to see all of you again. I've been here for some time. We just finished a few minutes ago the program with Livio. That was an amazing program, and I would like to encourage all of you to go listen to that program with Livio. It was a Kingdom Fruit with Livio. Just marvelous, beautiful stuff. We have Yinka Michael here. We have Gideon here. We have Justine here. Abraham Haruna here. Yep. So, you know, the house is, we have Miko. The house is getting filled up. So, well, I will just go and encourage all of you to go ahead. Jane Musanka is here. Ifi even is here twice. But I will just encourage all of you to go ahead and tag your friends. Go and invite your family, your relatives, anybody you care about. If you really care about anybody, go invite them. Don't go get them. They need to come here. Well, you know, we are continuing on the love series. We are continuing the love series. We call it love series, but it's really about knowing God, okay? So, knowing and understanding God through love is the whole idea. Knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God through love. Now, the greatest need of man is to actually get to know God and to love Him. There is nothing that could be greater than that. The Bible says that if you are going to be proud or brag about anything, you should only brag about the fact that you got to know God and you've got to understand Him. So knowing and understanding God is the supreme goal of any believer's life. In fact, the life of every person on earth. But the way to do that is to get to love God. That's why God talks about the greatest commandment. The greatest commandment is love. So through love, we'll get to come to know God and understand Him. But that is the series we are dealing with. But the topic of today is how God is when God is not your first love. For most people, even those people who call themselves Christians, God is not their first love. So what happens when God is not your first love? Most people don't seem to know the impact or understand the danger of not having God as their first love. The greatest thing to happen to you in life is to make God your first love. But if God is not your first love, you are putting yourself in a great disadvantage. You are making yourself to be in a disadvantaged position. The greatest thing you could do in life is to make God your first love. Because we are created to love God. This is the whole aim of our creation. Not to make money, not to become rich, not to become famous. As a matter of fact, we become famous. For you to become famous is not bad, but you should become famous or you should wish to become famous, just so that you could be able to make God famous. Thereby, through your fame, you are making God known, and you are loving God through your fame. Nothing bad in getting wealthy or getting rich, but the whole idea of getting rich is that you want to get rich so that you'll be able to love God through your wealth. So that through your wealth, you'll be able to love God more. Through your fame, you'll be able to love God more. So the reason you want to get education, the reason why you want to get to marry, the reason why you want to become a husband, a wife, the reason why you want to become a mother, the reason why you want to give birth to a child, should all be to love God more. So the whole idea of being a parent or getting pregnant or anything like that should be about getting to love God more and using that as an avenue to make other people to get to know and love God more. So the whole essence of our life is about getting to know God and love Him. Now, but when you don't put that as the priority of your life, you just complicate your whole life. Anybody that is not making God the first love of his life is exposing himself to a lot of danger. You might not realize it at first, you might not realize it directly, but you are actually putting yourself in a dangerous place. Let me give you a few of them. When God is not your first love, it means something else is your first love. And most of the time, you know what that first love is? That first love will probably be you. So if God is not your first love, then your first love will probably be you. You are that first love. And if you are the first love of your life, it means you are in love with yourself. What does that mean practically? That means that you are worshiping yourself. And to worship yourself, what does that mean? That means that you are your own idol. You made yourself an idol. Now, what does that mean to make yourself an idol? Can you come, Olena? So you remember what we are talking about when God is not your first love. So if God is your first love, what that means is this: you have elevated God, put it on your top, above your head, over your head, not Galaboy. So not Galaboy. You have elevated God above your head. So when any trial, any attack come against you, God is your shield. God is your umbrella. God is your protector. So God is watching over you. God is covering and shielding you and leading you. You are under God's protection, under God's guidance. You are under protection. But when God is not number one in your life, it's not the first love of your life. Let's say it is you. You put yourself as the priority. You remove God. God is number two. God is somewhere here. And you expose yourself. You exalt yourself over God. Then you are exposed. All the attacks coming are eating at you. You are going to miss it in life. You are going to eat your head. You don't have a protection. You don't have a covering. It is dangerous. It is not wise. You have to make it by yourself. It's like being an orphan in the street. It's like not having a home, not having a house, not having parents, not having any support. You get yourself exposed. Okay, let's say you are saying, but I'm not the first love of my life. I didn't make myself the covering of my life. My family is my first love, my family. So when you put your family as your first love, that means you exalt the family over yourself, over God. God is somewhere there. So what happens is this your family, you expose them. So what will happen is that you are making that family to come under attack. You are making that family to come under attack. So any attack that is coming against you, against your family, he is hitting against you. So if your husband is your first love, he is receiving all the attacks. And you will not know why you are always fighting. If it's your children, they are receiving the first attack. And you will not know why they are sick or why you are having the conflict, because you have exposed them. But if you put them a bit lower, maybe on the same level like yourself, or maybe lower, and then you make God to be under two of you, under your whole family, under everything you have, God becomes the covering for everything you have. It becomes the covering and the protection over your family, over your children, over your desires, over your goal, over your ambition, over your wealth, over your resources, over your children, over your partner. He becomes your protection. Now, I'm not saying religion, and I'm not saying going to church or activities in the church. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about God. God has to become your priority. If he's not your, I'm not going to church is not the same as God. Doing religious activity is not the same as God. I'm talking about personal relationship with God. This is done by personal relationship with God. It is personal relationship with God that we are talking about. So, not to make God your first love is to expose yourself. When God is not your first love, you are in danger. But that is not the only danger. I'm going to show you other dangers that you are exposed to when God is not your first love. When God is not your first love, you miss road. You are not under guidance. You like guidance. You know, you walk in your own understanding, your own wisdom. You are not under divine provision, your providence. You are not going to be living according to the agenda that heaven has set for you. You are going to be learning the hard way. You are going to be eating your head against the brick a lot of times. You are going to be having a swollen head. You are going to have a lot of, you are just defenseless. You are on your own. That is a dangerous life. So when God is not your first love, there are worse things that happen when God is not your first love. Because when God is not your first love, Satan will be able to trap you. You'll be busy doing things you'll be so sure of, but you'll be missing the target. You'll be missing the road. You'll be under one bondage or the other. You'll be coming out of one bondage, getting into another. You'll be coming out of one deception, getting into another. Your life is a mess, even if you're a Christian. So I'm not saying church should be your first love. I'm not saying religion should be your first love. I'm talking about God being your first love. So it's not the same thing. Personal relationship with God. Thank you. Thank you. So when God is your first love, that means you strive, first of all, to know him. You love him so much you want to know him. That's your first priority. When God is your first love, your primary objective, one of your paramount objective is to get to know him and get to understand him. When God is your first love, you want to know, understand him, you want to love him. And so everything you do, therefore, comes out of that love that you have for him. So if you are going to university, you want to go and study what he wants you to study. So his will becomes your command. His will becomes your priority. So when God is your first love, you want to live for his will. You want to find out, you don't want to make any step without making him guide you. You don't want to make your own plans. You want to find out what are his own plans, and you want to live in accordance to those plans. You want to find out his purpose for your life. You want to find out what he created you for. You want to find out his agenda, and you want to now begin to live for that agenda. That is, and you want to do it with all your pleasure, with all the joy in life. That means you are living according to the pattern that God has made for you even before you came to this world. So when God is your first love, the reason you want to go to university is because you have discovered that he wants you to become so and so, and you want to go and study and be the best in that field, so that you'll be able to glorify him the best, so that you'll be able to love him the most, so that you'll be able to express yourself to him the best you could, so that you could be the best in that area that could only express God that way. That's why you go to university. You don't just go to university, but most of us, what do? We want to go to university to get a good job. So you are the Lord of your life. Job and income is your Lord. So God is not your number one. So your priority is being dictated by your greed. Your priority is being dictated by your ego, by your selfishness. Your priority is being dictated by your desire to make it. Your priority is being dictated by your survival instinct, instead of your priority to be dictated by the fact that the Father has revealed to you that you are supposed to be so and so. And because you know that you are supposed to be so and so, that is why he sent you to this world, and that's why you're supposed to glorify him. You go to university to study in that line, so that you'll be able to, glorify him in the best possible way. You'll be able to live according to pattern. When God is your first love, you know exactly why you are studying hard. You know exactly why you are not going to discotheque, why you are not messing around when all other people are messing around. You know exactly why you are doing what you are doing. You know exactly why you are, depriving yourself of what other people are doing. When you want to go and make money, you know because, okay, I need to become a millionaire or a billionaire because I'm supposed to be this. This is the instruction of God for my life. I want to, and being a millionaire, God doesn't need to tell you to go and be a millionaire. But if you know that whatever you want to become, you need money there, then that is why you are saying, okay, I need to become a millionaire to be able to do what God wants me to do. Your business therefore has a purpose. The money you are making therefore has a purpose. So you are putting extra energy into doing that business where you are making and going through such a sacrifice that other human beings are not willing to go through because they don't have a purpose for it. But you have a purpose for it. So when God is your first love, you are addicted to everything you do. You are the best. You strive to be the best in everything you do because you know why. You know why you are doing everything. Everything is explainable. So when you want to go and get a wife or a husband, you don't just want to marry because you want to just meet your own sexual or some human needs. It's because you know that there is something that God wants to do through you, and there is a reason and a purpose for that marriage, and you want to use that marriage to love him more and to use that marriage as a means to even glorify him and know him better and all that. So you have an agenda for that marriage. You have an agenda for those children. You have an agenda for what you want to do. Not just because that is what everybody is doing in the society. Not just because that's what the relatives are asking for. No. If you are living like that, then God is not your priority. Then God is not your first love. Your first love is fear of man. Your first love is your self-image. Your first love is your reputation. Your first love is your relatives and what everybody will say. Your first love is public opinion and love for self. It's not God. So, there is no greater life to live on earth than when God is your first love. When you make God your first love, wow. I mean, there is a reason, there is an explanation, there is a clarity about everything you do in your life. But when God is not your first love, it's just like you are thrown out in the Amazon bush or Amazon forest of Latin America. You've never been there before, and you need to find your way out. You are just lost. But for God is your first love, all the lights are on. You are not groping anymore. You know exactly what you are doing and why you are doing them. There is an explanation. There is a purpose to every action. There is a reason to every day and to every hour of the day. So for God to be your first love is to do everything with a purpose, with everyone's purpose, with everyone's agenda. And when God is your first love, it means you desire to want to, first of all, please him, know him, understand him, do his will, live for him, and reveal him to people. So the topic of today is when God is not your first love. Mark 12:30-31 says, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. So what does it mean for God to be for your first love? For God to be your first love, see, how to make God your first love. The way to make God your first love is to love the Lord your God with all your heart. Nobody is competing with it. All of it. It means to be a fanatic. It means to be fanatical. It means to be extreme, dedicated, 100%. I mean, this is not 99. All is not 99%. It's not 80%. It's not 90%. It's not 60, 70%. It's not even 99%. All means I'm done. Father, I'm all yours. So to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, with all your soul, all your heart means your essence. So when I do what I'm doing, for example, and I'm talking about the pastors in Nigeria, and people say, are you not afraid? No, I've passed that stage long time ago. Because you can only be afraid when you don't love the Lord with all your heart. When you still have a place for yourself, you love yourself, then you are afraid. But when you are loving the Lord with all your heart, you are consumed by him. You are only bothered by him. You are only seeing him. You are only concerned by him. You are all immersed in him. With all your heart, with all your soul. What does that mean? That includes your will. That means your will is only dedicated to serving his purpose. With your whole soul, that means your emotions. Your emotions are first of all to glorify him. Your feelings, your intellect. That's why you must develop yourself. Your emotions, your intellect, your will. With all your mind. That's why you must read, study, be the best in everything. It's not pardonable not to read. It's not pardonable not to study, not to grow. It has to be with all your mind. With all your mind, there is no way you can serve God effectively. There's just no way for you to serve him effectively. So if you love God, for example, just with all your heart, it's not enough. You will never be effective enough. For you to be effective, you need your mind. And that mind must be engaged. So the engagement of your heart and the total engagement of the heart, total engagement of your soul, total engagement of your mind, and total engagement of your strength, that is the totality of what makes you to be able to be a God lover and a kingdom changer. You cannot be a planet shaker, a kingdom addicted person until your love for God has transcended into your heart, soul, mind, and strength. All the 4 departments of yourself have to be totally occupied. So people who say, for example, in Africa, I know a lot of people who love God with all their heart, but they have empty head. That's why they cannot do anything. You cannot effect a change. For you to be able to glorify God, loving God with all your heart is not enough. Your mind must be very developed. That's why you'll be able to compete with people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and all the rest. If you don't have a developed mind, you'll not be able to come out with no house. If you don't have a developed mind, you'll not be able to come with solutions. So even though you have a good heart and your heart is okay, you love God with all your heart, but you don't have information. You don't have ideas. You don't have know-hows. You don't have strategies. So it has to be with not just with all your heart, it must be with all your mind as well. But if you only love God with all your mind, you are reading a law, then your heart is not there, you lack the passion. You lack the sincerity. You lack the character. You lack the commitment. So even though you have a big head, but you lack direction. So it has to be 100% of your heart, 100% of your mind, 100% of your soul. What is soul? Why do you need soul? That's your passion. That's your energy. That's your drive. That's your emotion. That's your feelings. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It is the soul that brings that human dimension into whatever you are doing. It is the soul that brings that touch of the heavenly. It is the soul that makes you to have the empathy. It is the soul that makes you to have the sympathy. It is the soul that makes you to be able to touch people with God's touch of love. It is the soul that makes you to express God in a way that people will see God in you. It has to be 100% of your soul as well. You don't just be an intelligentsia and that is having intellectual prowess and then no contact emotionally. People just say, he has having a big head, he knows a lot, but I'm going to sleep when I listen to him. So that's why your soul must be involved, which is your emotions, which is your feeling, which is your willpower. And then with your energy, with your strength as well. That's to be with all your strength. What does that mean? Your body, your strength. passion, your energy. You need power. You need energy. You need to be fit. You need to be fit physically. You need to work hard. God said, pray that God will send laborers. To be a laborer, you need strength. You need to be able to labor. Jesus was a laborer. My Father worketh hitherto, and I work. You need energy. You need strength. So loving God is holistic. That's what we are made for. Some people think to love God like that is to become a fanatic. I will never be rich. Who says? That's the only way to be rich. Because you have a reason for wealth, accumulation or creation. Because you know you have a goal that you need to accomplish. And you know you need $1 billion for that. I personally, I said, by the time I step in Africa, I'm going to have $1 billion. I have it already, by the way, by the grace of God. If I don't have $1 billion, I will not even step in Nigeria. I don't have it in cash now because I am under restriction in Ukraine. I'm still fighting with my demons here. But by the time I get out of here, I'm going to put my acts together. And before I step in Nigeria like this, know that that guy is already having minimum $1 billion US. It doesn't make sense for me to do otherwise. But I've already done the work. The thing is already there. I just need to gather all things, sell everything, put them together, and be able to do what I need to do. So why do I need $1 billion? Because I need to change a nation. And $1 billion is a drop in the ocean. It's nothing. I need to have more than that, far more than that. So you to say, oh, to love God with all of that is to become a fanatic, I will never be rich. No! That's when you have a pure heart. Because God knows that you don't want to use that for yourself. He knows that you love him so much. You want to do his will so much. And you are subduing the money just for his will. That's why you'll be rich. Oh, I'll never be happy. I'll never enjoy life. No, that's when you enjoy life. Why? Because you are pure in your motives. And you need to interact with people. You need to make life. You need to bring life around. You need to... Everything begins when you get to love God with all your heart. So never you be a 50-50 Christian. Make up your mind to refuse to be a 50-50 Christian from now on. Revolt against being a 50-50 Christian. Begin to practice solitude. Begin to lock yourself up in a room or in some solitude or somewhere in some hotels or something with books, with knowledge. Begin to package yourself with the content of heaven, with the content of God. Begin to revive and wake up your soul. Begin to energize your strength. Begin to energize your mind. Begin to empower your mind. Begin to empower your heart, your spirit. Begin to fill yourself with God. Begin to learn to become a fanatic, a 100% committed God carrier, God addicted person. That's what it means to when God is your first love. I mean, there's nothing like making God your first love. There's nothing like it. It's better than marriage. Better than children, better than wife, better than children, better than success, better than achievements. Well, does that mean you will not have problems? Oh, only problems, believe me. Problems from morning to night. But then you are energized to overcome those problems. You are motivated to overcome those challenges because you know why. Then you have the energy. When you are tuned into his love like that, and it's absolutely number one. Not 99%, but 100% number one. And not just in one direction, not just in one area of love, I mean of heart, with all your heart only. No. But when you get God, when you get to love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength, I mean, there's just no way you will not be the best anywhere you are. There's just no way you will not leave the footprint of of your life on the earth. There is just no way the earth will not know you. There is just no way you will not live an impactful life. There is just no way that will not happen. That's just the only way. And it's the fastest way to living a legacy. When God is not your first love, you live a wasted life. When God is not your first love, you put yourself in trouble. You live for survival. And living for survival is living for vanity. When God is not your first love, you are enslaved by Uncle Sam. When God is not your first love, you are deceived by the elements of this world. You begin to think that the most important thing in life is to get a good job, for example. Element of life. You begin to think that the most important thing in life is to have children. Elements of this life. When God is not your first life, everything is misplaced. Misplaced priority. You make secondary thing to become primary thing. You miss the road. You are confused. Everybody can control you. Everybody is confusing you. People are just telling you all kind of things. You run helter-skelter. You are driven by the wind of this world. You are a victim throughout life. You are not in charge. Your life is not predictable. You don't know what awaits you. You waste life. You are a victim through life. When God is not your first love. 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 I'm sorry for you. I pity you. Because you will now get to know God. Then you will never understand him. Then you will never know love as well. Just because God is not your first love. So, Mark 12:31, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, with all your strength. This is the first commandment. And the second, like it, is this. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than this. Now, the second one is just like it. If you really make God your first love, you will discover that loving God is to love people. You will discover that everything God demands for you to do for him is not really for him because he's in heaven and you are here. But everything God demands that you will do is related to people. Everything is related to people. Everything you will ever do for God is related to people. Everything to love God, everything, it has everything to do with people. As a matter of fact, God does not recognize your love if it doesn't have anything to do with people. So, if you go to church to just sing and worship and dance, that is not blessing anybody. That's not what God is saying. To love God is to love people. So, really, what that second commandment is saying is the only way God will know that you love him is by how you relate to people and what you do to people and for people. So to love God, how do I do that? Look at people. Everything else you do for God in church without doing for people, that's just religion. Every other thing you do for God without relating it to people, human being, is called religion. So you're singing, you're dancing, your ministry in the church and all those things you do, if it's not about people, touching people, and you say you are rushing to God, you want to serve God direct, God, that's why God made himself invisible, so that you cannot get to serve him direct. And the only way to serve him direct, I was naked. I was hungry. I was the one hungry. I was the one naked. I was the one in prison. I was the one in the hospital. That's to be around people. You remember the Samaritan? Walking past people to go to church to serve God is a waste of time because it's religion. God said they are not going to heaven, but the one who stopped by people is going to heaven. the Good Samaritan. The Levite going to sing in the church. So he walked by people, he's not going to heaven. Because that's religion to go and sing in church. That's religion to go and preach in church. That's religion to go to think that you need church to love God. But the one that could see God in people, he is the one that really loves God. So when God is not your first love, you become religious. Satan sells the fake to you. So you pass by people with money in your pocket, people who need to eat, and you go and take it to church because you think you are giving it to God. But to give something to God is to give it to people. Let's have a look at when God is not your first love, what begins to happen to you? When God is not your first love, let me tell you what begins to happen to you. You want to hear? When God is not your first love? Most likely, you begin to make your first love yourself, love for self. You begin to make your first love money, love for money. You begin to make your first love survival. And that greed, love for money begins to push you to doing anything that will just make you happy, because it's love for self. Love for money, you become a slave to money. Survival, you become a slave to Uncle Sam. Love, when God is not your first love, you become a victim. When God is not your first love, you kill yourself. When God is not your first love, you worship your instincts, and your instincts will drive you crazy. Let's have let's have a look at some videos that talks to us about what happens to people when God is not their first love. Now, that might not be you, but that's just what happens in the life of those people, but it might be another thing in your life. But when God is not your first love, you are not more thinking about pleasing God. It's about pleasing you. And pleasing you will take you the route you don't want to go. Will just lead you astray. When God is not your first love, you become a victim through life. You begin to serve other gods, idols, mammon. You are deceived. You are pitiful and pitiable. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one here.
Considering all the innovative ways drug smugglers use to transport drugs, they've got to be among the most creative individuals. A Nigerian man recently made headlines when he was caught carrying cocaine, valued at nearly $150,000 in a roasted chicken. Traveling from Sao Paulo, he was caught at the airport in Lagos, Nigeria. The suspect was surprised that the authorities were able to find the drugs. He noted it took him 3 days to pack inside the chicken, and further said that he wanted to move back, settle in Nigeria, and be with his family. Although the use of roasted chicken is creative, other methods for smuggling drugs...
Let's go back. Let's start all over the world.
Considering all the innovative ways drug smugglers use to transport drugs, they've got to be among the most creative individuals. A Nigerian man recently made headlines when he was caught
let it become bigger.
Carrying cocaine, valued at nearly $150,000 in a roasted chicken.
See how creative. Can you make it bigger? Can you see how creative this guy is? That's what the journalist is saying, that drug pushers are some of the most creative people in the world. So he's a talented guy. To even be able to come up with the idea of putting drugs in roasted chicken. I mean, inside the chicken. With bones still there. The guy is tough. So what led him to this? Love for something else. We are all created to love him. Love him first. But when we don't love him first, love for something else, especially for self, that is called love for self. He loves himself so much, he is now living to make himself feel good. He is now alive just for himself. Living for yourself leads you into all kind of crazy stuff. That creativity, he could have used it actually to become a Bill Gates, to become a Steve Jobs, to become, a Mark Zuckerberg. He could have been able to do something with his brain, with his creativity, with his wisdom. But what has he done with it? Evil. When you fall in love with yourself, you self-damage yourself. You destroy yourself. You are self-destruct. When you don't love God first, you will love something else first. It could be money. It could be self. When it's dangerous not to love God first. It could be family. It could be self mainly. When you don't love God first, when you don't put God first, you make a mess of your life. When you don't put God first, you become an idol worshiper. When you don't put God first, you make yourself a slave to the elements of this world. What is money? It's an element. Money is just a piece of wood or piece of paper. What is paper? Paper is coming from leaves and from wood. So you make yourself a slave. So he's running up and down Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, just for a piece of wood and leaves. You walk 70 years of your life. You'll be running up and down just to have a big house like this, a piece of bricks. You are becoming a slave to money. And you know what something with money is? Money is a very good slave, but a very bad master. So money has become his master. But before money became his master, self was his master. He wants to make himself feel good, live good. We are not created for self. We are not created to live for self, to make self feel good. If you begin to lose your focus and begin to live for self, you will become a eventual laughing stock of the world. You become a laughing stock. Because once you, first of all, you make yourself become the focus, the Lord of your life. You live for yourself. You make yourself the first love. Then it goes down. Then you become, first of all, you're becoming slave to yourself, and then you become slave to the elements of this world. Because all the things that self wants are the lust of the eyes, and the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, and things in this world. They enslave you. You become their slave. Things of this world blind you and push you. Satan and money, the god of mammon, will just be pushing you, telling you all kinds of things. Even make you to become a slave to Uncle Sam. Go to work. Even if you are not a drug pusher, you will just be walking. And you'll be chasing after illusions. You'll be walking, going to work. You say, "Oh, I'm an engineer. Oh, okay, now I want to go get my master's." You go and you just be running rat race. You know the reason for your rat race? You want to make an impression. You want to live good. It's you. It's all about you. You are in trouble. You are in a trap. Once everything is all about you, once all your goals are just earthly, are just, what do you call it, trivial things like that. Like earthly things, to make it. It means you are the center of your life. You just miss the priority of life. The priority of life is we are created to love him first, and then all other things. That's the whole thing. You are created to love him first, to put him first. When you don't, you make yourself a victim. The elements of the world will just be messing your life up. Let's have another look at another video. When you are not making him your first love. I'm showing this as the extreme example. Extreme example. But there are some of us that we're just going to work. Everything looks good. But it's not your first love. Woo! You are not better than those guys. You are not better than them. Their own is just that they get their karma very fast because you know they go to the extreme. But if you don't make God your first love, you are just the same as them. Actually, you are just the same as them. So here we are. Let's look at another one here.
Where are you from? Huh? Where are you from? I said, where are you from? From what city in Nigeria?
From Enugu City.
And why do you have all these drugs in your apartment?
Listen to me, I don't have them. I have my goods.
You lie, you lie.
I cannot lie for you, my brother. I cannot lie. I used to make my good business in Thailand. Only little did I know that they gave me problem. That's led me into this. But I'm sorry, I will never repeat it again. I will never repeat it again. Please.
The drugs are in your pocket.
Yeah, they are in my pocket.
This is a very large amount of ice.
I'm sorry.
Where did you get it from?
I did not get it from any source. Only somebody brought it to me before.
Somebody who?
I don't. They used to keep somewhere and then you will take.
Who?
I don't know who. They will keep and then you will keep. You go and take. That's how they do. That's how it is done. Nobody in particular gives me, my brother.
So how did it?
See a human being, all the dignity is gone. Human dignity is lost just because you want to make yourself more respected. Because when it goes through with the drugs, it becomes a big man at home. Because he wants to satisfy self. Too much love for self. The only problem, I'm sure he's a believer, he's going to church, but he's not loving God first. His whole life is not about pleasing the master. He's not totally dedicated to pleasing him. It's not when you don't make God your first love, then you become the first love. Then you lose your self-dignity. But this is not the only way we lose our self-dignity. We also lose our self-dignity in Uncle Sam's work. When you just go to work and you cannot get out. And you are waiting for vacation. It's the same thing. You've lost your dignity. This guy has lost his dignity. And see, he's become like an animal. He's just begging. It's no more dignity. No more self-respect. You lose yourself when you want to gain it. That's what Jesus said. Anybody that wants to keep his life, you want to live for your own life instead of giving your own life to him and living for him. When you give up your life to live for him, you keep it. But when you are keeping your life, you want to make your own life, you want to live for your own life, that's when you lose it. That's what had just happened. You just lost it. And they're going to die. They're going to kill him there. In that place, only death. That guy is a goner. Let's have a look at that again. That's what happened to us when we live for ourselves. But it doesn't have to be extreme like this. Maybe you are just living your own life. Discotheque. Go and look at the prostitutes. Nigerian prostitutes by the way, we have to look for some of those. In Brazil, Italy or something. The same thing, you are a goner. And why do people become prostitutes? Because they want to gratify, they want to live a good life. They are making themselves the priority of life. When you don't make God your first love, you are just running about the earth like this. Rat race. You're just running about in this vicious circle of rat race, vicious circle of rat race. You're struggling through life. It's not wise. It's not smart. And it's foolish. But when you make God your first love, you don't care. You want to first of all seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. First of all, that's your only priority. And all of that things will be added. Let's have a look again.
Where are you from?
Huh?
Where are you from? I said, where are you from? From what city in Nigeria?
From Enugu City.
And why do you have all all these drugs in your apartment?
Listen to me. I don't have them. I'm my goods.
You lie, you
I
lie.
cannot lie for you, my brother. I cannot lie. I used to make my good business in Thailand. Only little did I know that they gave me a problem. That's led me to this. But I was...
Stop. You see, this is what we want to change in Africa. This is one of the reasons I want to go to Nigeria. We've got to teach people that money will come. Just don't live for money. We are not created to live for elements of this world. We are not created to live for things. You see, you will make it. Money will come. But money will only come the right way. And the way to make money come the right way is find your priority. Find God's will for your life. Give yourself totally all the effort you use. The same effort you are using to do this one fast. Give the same effort to pleasing Him. To carrying out His purpose. To fulfilling the mission He is given for you. And you will find so much resources. Money and everything will come to you. But when we put God as secondary, and the way pastors teach is as long as you can bring tithe, as long as you can bring offering. So what is left for God is jara, or what we call it in Nigeria, or like change, chicken change. So I live my life. I live for anything I want to live for. I live for myself. I live for money. I live for mammon. I live for anything. And I just come and bribe God $5,000 or $1,000 or $500 every Sunday. So when you come to put God secondary, when you make God secondary, you've not helped matters. So those things they are teaching us in church, that go and live anyhow you want to live. Go and work. Go and do everything. Go and make money and then bring it. That's not making God priority. Or, go and work, go and survive, go and do anything you want. Then you come to church and serve. That is not the same thing as making God priority. Making God priority is allowing God to influence your wishes. It means your wishes are under the command of God. Even your own wishes, you don't even want to be the author, the initiator of your wishes. Your wishes are about, doing the wishes of heaven. Doing the wishes of the Father, making sure that even your own will and wishes are in line with the desires of the Father. Even your own passion, even your own energy, even your own desires, even everything. When you are so submitted to pleasing Him, not pleasing your pastor, not pleasing church, not pleasing what church members want to, but when you know you are aligned and you are submitted in your wish, in your will, in your desires, in your inner content, your heart of heart, to please Him, you find out what He wants for your life. What are the things you have burden for? What are the burdens He has put in you? What are the desires He has put in you? And when you are now dedicated to, to pursuing that, that is what we call making God first. But when you make God, when you make yourself first and make every other thing first, and you just put God, every Sunday I'll be going to give God something. You are just slapping God in the face. God doesn't even need you to show up in the church. God doesn't even need you to give any tithe or offering. God doesn't even need you to give anything. But your heart of heart, your desires, your wholeness, your personality, your totality is what He wants. If He could just get behind your wishes and your wish and your desire and your will, if you could God just get you to a place whereby you are submitted to His will, to His wishes, to the preeminence of His sovereignty. When you are submitted to His sovereignty, when you are totally in compliance with His leading, that's the only thing He wants. Or after that, He doesn't care for your tithe. He doesn't care if you go to church. He doesn't care if you never even go to church again. He doesn't care if you will never ever give $1 to any church. But if you are in compliance with His will and His sovereignty, then your whole life is serving Him. Your whole emotion is serving Him. Your whole passion is serving Him. Your whole finances, your resources, capital, everything is serving Him. You totally belong to Him, even though you might not have entered any church for the rest of your life. It is about personal relationship with Him. It's about walking with God. pleasing God, making God the priority and the totality of your being, being submitted to him. You might not even go to any prayer meeting, but you are walking with the Father every day. You are conversing with him every day. You are in love with him. You are opening your heart to him. You don't need to pray and no, just your, just conversation within yourself with your Creator. And that's where we will all meet a big shock when we get to heaven. Because the people we say they are not Christians or they are not born again, we will be shocked by the time we discover that they are even closer to God than we are. Because we have replaced God with religion. And we now use religious things to grade God. So, this thing we are seeing here is a pity. So, my problem in Nigeria now with these young men and all other Nigerians is that everybody has now elevated money as the goal, as the alpha and omega of our society. That if you can, I just have to make it. I just have to make it. I just have to make it. As if churches are not there in that country at all. Without letting them know that, no, if you just put God there first in your life, you already made it. Meanwhile, you don't, look, me, I never have any money in my pocket. See, me, I never have any money. Never. You will never see me with $1. I never have anything. Because I'm doing that intentionally. It's my principle. I never carry money. And the reason is because I'm proving to the world and to myself that I don't need it. I'm living in relationship. I'm in current. I'm in current with heaven. Once I'm in that current, in frequency, whatever, I'm following it. I have everything I need. You might not have anything, but once you are determined and you have made yourself to be in compliance to the master lordship, to be totally submitted to his will. Once you have totally, made yourself the slave of the master. Once you have made him the priority, the number one love of your life, your greatest desire, your silver and your gold, your aspiration and your desire. Once you just want to please him above all else, you're already rich. Let me tell you so. You are already rich and wealthy. Then, you've done that. It's a matter of heart and your covenant relationship with God, intimacy. But then, after you do that, that one is what is happening between you and God in your secret place. That one, you don't need church for it. You don't need even to read Bible for it. You don't even need anything for it. Just you and God. Then once you have made that covenant, that decision, that oneness, once you are united with God like that, once you have become one with him like that, every day, then that is the heart one. That is the most important thing. You see, remember what we read? That you shall love the Lord thy God with all your heart. That is how to do the heart one. Just covenant, heart, connection with God to become one like with him. And submitting yourself totally to him, that he is your Lord. He is your totality, that you are possessed by him and you are possessed with the desire to please him and do his will. That is loving him with all your heart. That's the way to do that one. Now then, you move from there, loving him with all your heart. That's what you have done. Then you go to the next level. And what is the next level? The next level now is to love him with all your soul. So what is that? What does that compose? What does that mean? From loving with all your heart, you've submitted yourself to him, you've made him your first love, you've committed yourself to his will, you just want to please him with all your heart, then you move to the next level, which is loving with all your soul. What does that mean? Loving with all your soul, first of all, the most important aspect of your soul is your will. So once you have entered into that intimacy with God, covenant with God, then you go to the second gear. And the second gear in your soul is your willpower. Then you begin to, you apply your willpower now. Now that I want to please you, Father, you are now, what is willpower? That's determination. That is decision. Now you begin to make concrete decisions. Like, for example, I must find out what God wants me to do. That's willpower. So now, that's your willpower. You use it to go and do research, to go and seek the face of God, to go and find out, to go and read books, for example. How do I discover my calling? What's my gift? What am I something? Your willpower drives you, becomes your motto. So once you have discovered your will, what God wants you to do, like for example, he wants you to change political scene in your country, or he wants you to, eradicate corruption or something like that. Anything he wants you to do, you say, okay, good. So your willpower is your driver, is the energy, it's the thing that you are now fully putting that, it has to be with all. So you've got to connect your willpower 100%. So you use the willpower to seek his face. You use your willpower to read and to be the best. You use your willpower to go, now that you know that you have to go to become so and so, now you use your willpower to go and get education. To go or to get self-education. You begin to read with all your heart and your passion. That's your soul. So your willpower begins to drive you to attain and achieve. Why do we want to read and become the best? Because I want to glorify God in that place. I want to do this thing that God told me to do, and I want to do it for God. That is how. So you are using your willpower to achieve, to drive you to do what you already know. Now, apart from willpower in the soul also you have your intellect. So you are using your willpower to enrich your mind. But while you are doing that, you are not just dry and just intellectual and just mechanical and just not having any relationship with people. But remember that in the soul, you also have not just your intellect, not just your will, because if you just have the willpower, then you will be walking on the head of people. You'll be stepping on people. But so that's why in the soul, God put together the will, strong will, together with, in the soul, you still have emotions and feelings. So even though you have a strong willpower to attain and to achieve, to become a great achiever, but then at the same time, you've got to love God. Not just with your willpower, with your intellect, but you've got to love God with your passion as well, with your soul, which is with your emotions, with your feelings, which means while you are attaining with your great zeal, you are doing things for people. Why is that connected? Because you cannot love God without loving people. Everything God will ever ask you to do is for people. That's why your emotion must be connected, which means your heart. You have tenderness towards people. You have love towards people. You want to care for people. Everything God will ever ask you to do is not for heaven, no. He doesn't need your help there. He has angels. So when to love God means to love people. So no matter the calling God tells you to do, it's in connection with people. So everything you are doing it with a heart of love, with a heart of consideration for others. You want to help people. You want to lift people. That's what soul gives you. Your soul makes you to want to touch people, to want to love people, to want to make people's life improve. You don't not to be selfish, but to also be considerate of other people. Your soul makes you to want to feel the pain of others, to have empathy. Your soul makes you to want to have sympathy for people, to want to live a life of giving, a life of service to others. So even though you have strong willpower, you have strong intellectual capacity, but you are doing it for people. You are considerate as well. You are soft to people. You are nice to people. So that's second gear. You've got to love the Lord thy God with all your heart. That's your own commitment, intimacy. Number 2 is with your soul. That is your willpower, your drive, and your love, your heart. That your soul. Then number 3, then you've got to go to your mind. You've got to love the Lord with all your mind. That's where you build strategy. That's where you work out tactics. That's where you develop your prowess. You have got to, develop your intellectual capacity, because that's what you'll be able to give you direction. Everything you have in your heart is going to be transmitted to life through your mind. So you've got to develop your mind to be the best in that area, especially in the areas that you want to go. So it's not just your intellect, but your mind. Your mind is your subconscious, is your consciousness, is your intellect, is your wisdom. So you've got to be the best in everything. Mentally, intellectually. That's why you read books. That's why you study. That's why you want to read everything possible. You want to make your mind to be totally developed. Because if you love the Lord with all your heart, and you have a lot of love in your heart for God, but you don't have intellect, you don't have your mental prowess, your mind is not developed, you will never become a Bill Gates. You will never, because you don't have knowledge in that area. You will never become a Mark Zuckerberg, because you don't have knowledge in that area. Even though you love God, but God will just pass through you, by you and go to unbeliever Bill Gates, because he has knowledge in that area. So God needs your mind. There is nothing God can do to use you without your mind. So those are the things we should be telling our people. So that's why they must develop their mind and read and become the best. And develop their mind and everything. Then number 4, you have this energy, your strength. They say, love the Lord with all your, number 1, or your heart, or your soul, or your mind. Now finally, with all your strength, physical strength. You cannot serve God if you are not healthy. You can, but you'll be limited. So your body needs to be fit. That's why we work out. That's why we eat well. That's why we take care of our body. That's why we, you need strength. Even Jesus was walking on the mountain, on the Galilee, Jerusalem. He was a fit man. We need to be fit physically. You need energy. Me standing all day long. If you know my schedule today, you'll be scared. But you've got to have that kind of energy to be able to keep on going. So that is energy, strength is number 4. So these are different gears. If we are able to teach these people, young people like this, that actually loving God, putting God first, is actually the best way to be rich. Because if you put God first like that, and you know that God said you must become a politician, for example, then you are committed, you are the best in every area, you do everything that you need to do. You know that, okay, for me to become a politician, I need money. So it is that passion that drives you, because you want to glorify God. You will never go and carry drugs. So God will give you ideas. God will give you, some things to do. He will talk to you because your heart is committed to Him. It's all about serving Him. It's all about praising Him. It's all about glorifying Him. So you will not see yourself do anything else. You will not be a sellout. You will not do the wrong things because you want to glorify God. But you will still become that billionaire. And God will be helping you because He knows your heart that you are committed. You have a covenant with Him to serve Him and to do everything for Him. So the fastest way to become another Bill Gates, another Mark Zuckerberg and something like that is to do this and go and develop the mind like that with the intent of glorifying God. God will begin to give you, if you have the same kind of knowledge as Bill Gates, as Warren Buffett, as Mark Zuckerberg, but then you have the agenda to glorify Him, who will He give all the inventions to? It's you, of course. But you have to have the same capacity, intellectual capacity as them. But when you don't have intellectual capacity, you are just having, for example, soul, emotion, and you are going to church every day you are going to church. Because some people love the Lord, their God, with their whole soul. So they are going to church to pray. They are using the soul alone to serve God. No heart. Or some of them even have heart. Then they have soul. So they're just using emotion to go and sing every day. And then you are using the will to just go to church. Willpower, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 6 days a week. They are just doing rubbish. So how will God give you these inventions? Because you don't use your mind. He said to love God, not just with your soul. You need your mind. Go develop it. Otherwise, your zeal will just be used up for rubbish. And you'll be wondering, so me, I'm going to church. And I'm doing all these things. But I love you now, God. But He didn't just say love Him with all your soul. He said with all your mind as well. Everything has to be together. So if we could teach all these young people like that, they will know that it's not a big deal to be rich. But when you just remove God from being the priority of your life and you make yourself the priority, you become the first lover of your whole life, you just disgrace yourself and you self-destruct. You destroy yourself eventually. Either under Uncle Sam, working as a nurse in London, or working as a nurse in America, through all your own life until they send you to go and die on pension, and then you've not done anything because your whole priority was survival. Your whole priority was making it in life. You are your own number one love. No God. Wasted life, just making a living. Give birth to 3, 4, 5 children and everybody's gone, and then you are going to die. They are going to bury you. And then they are continuing your nursing job or your engineering job or something. Empty life. And you are saying, we go to church on Sundays, so you are going to you relegated God to some place there on Sundays instead of you living for Him every minute. Anyway, I don't think we need to show that again. Let's go back to my note. Okay, so, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. That is the first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than this. So whatever God is going to ask you to do is going to be connected with people. That's why he said the second commandment is to love people. To love people. So, now there's another thesis. This is my own quotation here. But I want to be putting this quotation everywhere, every time now, until people get it. Now, this quotation is, all problems in the world are love problems. Every problem you have in the world is a love problem. Every problem any problem you have today is connected to love. Any problem you see in the world is a love problem. Any problem that you as a human being have is connected to love. Why? How? For example, that guy, let's talk about those guys we saw. That's a love problem. Why? Because they love themselves. They love the wrong thing. Too much. You see, every problem in the world is a love problem. Either loving yourself too much, that's the category of those people. When you love yourself too much, have you ever heard of people divorcing? Divorce? What do you think it is? It's a love problem. Somebody is loving the wrong person, loving himself too much at the detriment of another person. Have you ever heard of what problem? Corruption? It's a love problem. Why? People love themselves too much instead of loving the people. Have you ever heard of what problem again? Headsmen problem? It's a love problem. Why? They love their cattle more than they love people. It's a love problem. Any problem you see in the world is a love problem. Have you ever seen problem of underdevelopment? In Africa, poverty? Wow. Some people love their pocket and their own family more than the old people. They don't love God. Every problem you see in the world is a love problem. So all problems in the world are a love problem. Either loving yourself too much or not loving others. Poverty, because somebody is taking the power, is not loving others. Loving himself too much and not loving others. So our problems in the world is a love problem. Either loving yourself too much or not loving others as yourself. You don't have consideration for others. Husbands, wife, family problem. It's a love problem. Everything is connected with love. Accidents, love problem. You don't care for others. You are faster. You want to be faster than everybody else. You love yourself so much, you want to get there faster than your neighbor. So you break the law. Plane dropping, it's a love problem. Because as a pilot, you didn't sleep at night, you didn't get enough rest, or you are too fast to checking the plane, you didn't do the due diligence. Why? You love yourself. The time you are supposed to do the due diligence to check the thing, so that you have consideration for others, and you didn't do it. You were too fast. You needed to rest. You are sleeping, or you are in a party, or you are doing the quick, fast. It's a problem, love problem. You love yourself too much that you jeopardize the life of other people. Every problem in the world is a love problem. Hospitals, sickness, it's a love problem. People don't love others. Or people love themselves too much. Or, okay, let's continue again. All problems in the world is a love problem. Either loving yourself too much or not loving others as yourself. A misdirected love is loving the wrong things. Some people love money too much. It's a misdirected love. That love is supposed to belong to God and to people. But they love money, like the guys with the drugs. It's a misdirected love. They wrong the wrong thing. Loving themselves, loving money, too much. Loving things, self, and other things, instead of loving God and others. So every problem in the world is a love problem. So the first and only commandment is love. We are created to love God and to love people. But in love, there is priority. What is the priority in love? God first, human being second, yourself third. But if you listen to charismatic preachers today, they say, oh, you cannot love others if you don't love yourself. Love yourself first. It's good. If you want, love yourself, but love others as well. Love yourself and love others as yourself. But that's the first level of love. But the highest level of love is to actually prefer others above yourself. So love, the priority of love is love God, then love your neighbors. That's what the Bible says. You didn't put yourself in that one, then love your neighbor. So let's have a look at this video here.
On a dreary morning in Washington, D.C., layers of donated clothes keep them warm. All they have resides at their feet or in their arms. Finding shelter and food defines their day. Dawood Proctor knows this struggle all too well.
I mean, I see people come past and laugh at the homeless and you know, might look down on them, but if you really look at it, a lot of people ain't number one step away from being this way.
Franklin Square is one of many places in the nation's capital inhabited by those without a home. And it sits just 2 blocks from 2 very different houses. To the west, the White House. To the east, Mayor Kebab House.
This is Sunday morning.
Owner Kazi Manat was in early on this particular day.
Every dish is magic is that how much you have to stir it.
He and his staff are preparing a special feast for customers at his Pakistani Indian restaurant.
Potato, cauliflower, chicken, naan bread, chickpeas, and vegetable biryani.
But these dishes are destined for an audience that's rarely welcome in elegant eateries.
I knew about this place being here and passed it through my everyday travels.
For the past few months, Manad has opened his restaurant to the homeless.
Oh, we are blessed. Look, blessings are here. They're waiting for us to serve them. Isn't it amazing? Sometimes it comes in 15, 20. Sometimes they come like nobody. We are waiting. God, please send somebody, right?
Nearly 20 people on this day
Rainy, cold, and wet.
came in from the elements for lunch.
What you guys like to drink, tea or coffee?
They're treated like any other guest,
Tea, okay. What about you?
except for one key difference.
Coffee? You brother?
They eat for free.
Anytime, any day. Restaurant is open.
Anytime,
you are
any
most
day.
welcome. You are most welcome. You are our guest, just like other people. Anything you like with the menu or with the
And these are
you're
Muslims.
most welcome to eat free.
Yes, it's shocking to me
Stop.
because I didn't think it was
Come
wrong.
and eat anytime, any day. This is the kind of Christianity I want in Africa. The Christianity of love. The Christianity of love. But I don't think there is a place in Nigeria where people can just come and eat anytime, any day in our nation's capital. These are Muslims. And the greatest commandment in Islam is not even love. But we who have a religion where the greatest commandment is love, we don't even have an idea. We don't even care. These people are made, this guy who has the restaurant, he's made it. But it's not that he's a billionaire, but he's just he's having love and consideration for his neighbor. And that's why God said, anybody that knows love knows God. That's why God will bypass thousands, millions of us Christians who just know religion and don't know God. He will go and pick a Muslim like this. And he will show himself to him. And we will be bragging and we'll be beating ourselves in the chest. Oh, I received Jesus as my Lord and Savior. But your life, your faith is dead. Because faith without works is dead. Okay, here we go.
Was out there that really cared for us to, you know, to help support the needs of the homeless.
He went without rice. Give him a tandoori chicken. Give him a potato cauliflower, and give him. You want bread?
So we appreciate this guy right here bringing us down to eat, because sometimes on Sundays it's slow. Well, sometimes we got to go around and beg, or sometimes, you know, we get a cup and try to make money. And try to find ourselves way out to eat, try to survive out here.
You guys are the most important guests for me.
Manon's boundless optimism and love of food was not cultivated at a high-profile culinary institute.
A lot of ginger and garlic paste.
His desire to provide stems from a painful uncertainty that defined his childhood. Qazi Manan grew up on a farm in a small village in Pakistan. He had 9 siblings.
We didn't have any electricity. We didn't have any running water. And the school, but believe me or not, was under the tree. My elementary school, we didn't have a building. I studied under the tree. When the rains, really hard rain start, teachers say go home. Because there's no...
This is just a grateful person, grateful soul. So his life journey taught him love. Do you know how many Nigerians are in Europe? You know how many Nigerians are in America? Who are making it somewhere in Europe? Do you think they think about anybody? Apart from their family or their relatives in Africa? They don't. But thank God, in Ukraine here, you know how many people we used to feed? 2,000 people a day, until there is no need for it anymore. 2,000 people every day, just like this. A Nigerian black man. Well, here we go.
To support his family, he went to work at 12, selling ice. The best school was 4 miles away, so that's how far he walked to get a formal education. In 1996, at the age of 25, Manan says his visa was miraculously approved, so he borrowed money from a cousin for a plane ticket to America. He started as a cashier, earning
See the problem with Africa? Almost everybody who is successful in Africa today went through this kind of story. But you know what? They just seem to have forgotten about other people. I've made it. I'm okay. You too struggle. That's the attitude in Nigeria. Because if that's not the attitude, how come there are so many destitute around and nobody is really doing anything much? Maybe some people are doing like Osage, like Berekete family, and few people like that now that are going around. But this is what Christianity, every Christian is supposed to be doing this. Even if 10% of Christians are doing this, Nigeria will not no longer, even poverty self. But people who pass through tough time in their lives, even they have forgotten where God has delivered them from. Okay, here we go. Continue.
$1 an hour at this gas station in one of the district's toughest neighborhoods.
When I arrived in America, I have $3. Just $3. And I started my life basically with nothing.
Hard work would alter the arc of his life. He says he worked double shifts, then multiple jobs. He saved up enough money to buy 1 limousine. The idea that a kid who came from nothing could one day drive the rich and powerful around in luxury inspired him even more. 1 limo turned into a fleet of vehicles. His business flourished enough that some 20 years later, he opened his own restaurant.
That's called American dream. You know this. Like, this is the only country where you say American dream, not in any other country.
Wow. So yeah, he kind of understands. That's a good thing.
Now that makes sense now?
Yeah, it makes sense now. That'll make a lot of sense.
He was blessed to obtain things through his struggle. And it's like he didn't ever give up.
But to fully understand this man, you should know one more thing.
I love to prepare this food for a homeless shelter.
Every Sunday, he makes extra food and delivers it himself to those in need in another part of the city. Manan connected a few months ago on social media with volunteers who now spend their Sundays dishing out hot meals to the homeless.
And they make you feel
What a life!
that you are valuable.
What a
For
life!
such a regular Ron Verker, having hope on the Lord's Day means everything to him.
It's huge. It's huge to know that I'm just nothing. I'm nobody. But God thinks I'm somebody.
Yes, thank you, yes.
Qazi Manan says a skeptic recently told him that if he gives his food away, he'll surely go out of business in no time. Manan believes the more he gives away, the more God will bless him.
That's the Bible!
God. And I because of my mission is from God.
He will always carry with him what his mother told him about holding tightly to his faith in the face of despair. She said, if you share even when you don't have, God will take you from darkness to light.
That's the whole answer to life. You know, being blessed by God. God will help you. And I know he will. You know, we got to make the first step. He ain't going to do anything for you.
Jay Korf.
My heart feels so blessed. It's a blessing from God.
ABC 7 News.
What better way to preach the gospel? What better way to preach the gospel? But you wait. Something is about to hit Nigeria. I bet you. Something is about to hit Nigeria. But it's not even important what I'm going to do. What's important is for the soul of Christians to be awakened. I think even that is even more important than what one person can do. Let's all of us become Christians again. The first priority of love is God. The second priority goes to man, people, not self, people. Not egocentrism, but people. Then all other things follow after. 1 John 2:15. Do not love the world. And that's what people put as first. People could love the world. And the things that are in the world. That's why those guys we saw were in trouble. If anyone loves the world, I mean, what do you love in the world? I mean, it's submitting yourself to elements of this world, to things, to stuff. You are supposed to be the king of creation, the head of all creation, and you are submitting yourself to things of the world. It's a waste. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not him. You see, it's supposed to be the love of the Father. When the love of the Father comes first, then all of that thing will just be added to you. You don't need to love them. We are not created to love things. We are created to love God and love people. Not things, not cars, not house, not people, not money. We are not created to love things, but to love people. The problem comes when we put something else above God. When we begin to love things, we lost it. Let's have a look at another video here. Yep, let's have a look at this video. I want to show you Nigeria. Nigeria is all about stuff for me. It's all about egocentrism. The Christianity people preach in Nigeria is putting self, it's like love of self first. You miss it. But the whole idea is to love God first. So when God is not first, then you become first. So everything people are praying for in Nigeria, God bless me, me. My family, my wife, my husband, my car, my work, my children, my this is me. That is called paganism. Idol worshiping, syncretism. That's not Christianity. Let's have a look.
My name is Kemilola Joseph. I am here to bless the name of the Lord for what he has done for me and still doing in my life. I've been looking for the fruit of the womb close to 3 years until I came here last year, 888, for the 888 program to be precise. But I've been coming here though, but I didn't lose faith. So when I came here 888, I heard a lot of women giving testimony about fruit of the womb. And I said, God, you are going to answer mine too this year. But the devil, as usual,
you see the problem in Africa, the whole focus of Christian activity is me, to get me something. So I'm going to church, I'm hearing testimonies of other people who are getting something, so I'm going to church to also get something for me. What churches are supposed to be teaching is that forget about yourself. Go and take care of the orphans. Go and take care of the homeless. Go and take care of the people in the street. Go and adopt them. Go and create orphanages. Go and provide for the needs of others. While you are busy doing it, come to here and pray for the nation. Go and pray for others. Pray, take care of the needs of others. When you do that, God will get yourself done. But now, because of the result they are having, they think they are justified. That there is justification because, oh, I've got the result. But even Babalawos will give you result. Even, go to India, all the voodoo people will give you result. It's not about result, it's about what is biblical. And biblical is not to put yourself first. Don't put, don't put a love for any other thing first. Because the reason why people go to church in Nigeria is not because of love for God, though. It's because of the love for self. How do I know? Because of what they are talking about. It's about what they can get. They are going to church to get something. That means it's me. God is just being used as sugar daddy. Or as Father Christmas. God is just the means of they benefiting themselves. It's all about them. See the man in Washington. That is clear that it's not about him. Why are they not doing that? Okay, here we go.
The trick. I saw my period after 888. The next month I saw my period. I didn't lose faith. I kept on praying.
Me.
I had this dream. I. She came and said she has been the one that has been getting pregnant all the while. That she has been the one swallowing my babies. So I cursed her in that dream. I cursed her and I said, because you have 2 children. I saw in the dream that she has 2 children. That you that have 2 children, you have decided to swallow my own babies. Now I curse you. I sent forth measles. So I cursed her.
She's happy that she's cursing people. What a shame. This is not Christianity, guys. Let me tell you, this is not Christianity. Even though there is a child there, they have a baby, but that doesn't prove that it's God. For me, this is proving that they are practicing witchcraft. This is not Christianity. I cursed the other woman and I got pregnant. But Bible is saying, bless and curse not. Love your enemies. Don't hate. Don't give eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. Bless those who misuse you. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you. And you are now saying, you are now using this as a testimony for God when you are doing against what he commands? This is not a testimony for God, I'm sorry. Something else is in operation here.
That you that have 2 children, you have decided to swallow my own babies. Now I curse you, I sent forth measles. So I cursed her, and then the next morning, I found out that the person actually was my closest friend, who happens to also be my neighbor. And the Lord delivered me from her.
And the person is a Christian too, I'm sure. I'm sure he's a Christian too. Go ahead.
I have my own baby, right? I'm the most beautiful baby in the world.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
It's about me. It's all about me. Give me my note back. You say, see the kind of Christianity we are talking about. See what is happening to a Muslim guy in New York, Washington, D.C. See what kind of Christianity we are talking about. We have missed the point. You see, it's all about knowing and understanding God through love. It's only love that would lead you to knowing God. Love will lead you to understanding God. But then that's when God is put as first in your life. But when God is not first in your life, it's all about me. And God is just being used to. That child is not going to be, they are not getting a child to glorify God. They are not getting a child so that child will, serve God or fulfill God's will. It's not about fulfilling and carrying out God's agenda, God's plan, God's will, God's intention. It's not about training him the will. It's just about just me having, just let me have. Just let me have like that. It's not about me. It's not about the ambition, like every other person's ambition. Every woman I must have my own. It doesn't matter, It's not about putting God first. It's about me first. That's tragic. Because when God is not put first, then you become an idol worshiper. That's what we're saying. People love something else other than God. And that's the problem. The problems come when we put something above God, because then we become idol worshippers. But what God's desire is that He must become our passion, our love, our diamond, our gold, our aspiration, our silver. Everything must be about him. It must be the reason we do everything we do. So everything we do must be coming from the fact that I love him and I want to magnify him, glorify him, and do his will. Do his will on the earth. Let's have a look at another one here. Today is the cooking day.
When I was a kid, I just loved the sounds of the kitchen. You know, the crackling of the oil in the frying pan and getting my hands in the flour. It was just so much fun. I'm Nathan. I love music, I love sports, and I love food. Currently, I'm the food service coordinator at Young Street Mission in Toronto. I oversee all the meals that go in and out of our organization, which feeds people who live in poverty, from young kids to seniors. Because of the nature of what we do, I don't always have particular ingredients to make what I'd want to make out of a certain meal. It really requires me using my imagination and just thinking of ways and creative ways to make a great meal of just what we have. It is important to me to create these meals to be the very best, because that is what these people deserve. These people are a part of God's creation, and they are our brothers and sisters, and this is the way we show love for them. Tonight, I'm having friends over, and I'm going to make them rack of lamb, stuffed turkey, beautiful mixed green salad with a tomato and bocconcini salad, and a wonderful vegetable medley with some Parisian potatoes. When I'm making a meal, the first thing I think about during the process is just what that plate is going to look like. And I just visualize it and imagine it, where the meat is going to go, the colors that are involved in that, and then work backwards. And what do I need to make sure that plate is going to look the way I want it to end up. The thing that inspired me most to be a chef was just my love for food. I love all different types of foods from different regions of the world, different textures, smells, colors. Food is just so different everywhere you go. It's something that brings us all together, so I love it. I'm just so fascinated with food. I really love food. The tools I absolutely need in my kitchen are my knives. Can't really do anything, start anything without my knives. Need a nice good wooden spoon and a spatula to obviously stir and to taste. You don't really need anything else but your spoon and your spatula, and you can eat a meal right there. I definitely feel a connection with God when I cook, because that's where my creativity comes from. My passion, my talent for cooking comes from God, and then the skills that I've developed in cooking, use it as worship. I just believe that God smiles down when you're using all your talents, whatever it is.
Now, the other thing here is just that, to become great, for people who are saying you cannot have fun if you have put God first. No, it is the opposite. It is, when in this particular situation, the example we are giving here is that it's also cooking and food, but it's not just to feed the homeless, but it's using food, its passion, to glorify God. That's what I'm saying. When you discover your gift, it doesn't matter what, you can become the best in it. You actually use that passion, that talent, that thing that your God has. He is serving God through cooking. All of us have a different area, but in the whole process, he said he's feeding people because he's seeing them in his mind as God's creation. In the process of cooking, he's serving God's creation. That's why he's doing the best. He's giving food to people who are made in God's image. He's giving his best. You see, so that's why anything you do, when you understand loving God first, everything else just follows. I will show you. Be doing it earlier before I come on. I will show you to change. Because we'll be wasting a lot of time. So he must be our passion, even while we are doing whatever we're doing. So, like for example, cooking now becomes the vehicle through which we carry out his will. But he is the passion. It's not cooking that is the passion. He is our love. Not the cooking or not whatever I would do, but that is just the vehicle through which we communicate his love, his passion. He is our diamond. Not the money that we get, not the diamond we get, but he is our diamond. The other diamond that comes, that's just a compensation. So, aspiration. He is our aspiration. He is our gold, our silver. That's how to live your life. He becomes your everything, and then the other things you do, that's just the way you express your passion, your love for him. You know, that's why you put your love, your passion into whatever you do, so that you are loving him by cooking for people like that, or by doing anything you do. So God must be the reason we do everything. Because even the strength and the grace to do anything at all comes from him. 1 John 4:19 says, we love him because he first loved us, you see. That's why we must love him first. He first loved us. He put us first. We must put him first as well. Hence, those must be used. All our talents, every other thing we have, everything we possess, everything we acquire, everything we gain must be used to serve and glorify him. And then, if we love God, if we put God first, we are going to think the best of people at all time. Okay, what do we have there? Let's see another video before I round up. Okay, here we go. I think there is a guy on our platform, I think there is a guy from our platform that he started going in America, going to the street to take care of homeless people in America. This is just one of our brothers on this platform. After we started all this series in American, I think it's a Nigerian guy or a Jamaican guy that goes to take care of people also now. So let's go.
What size you wear? What about the sneakers? What size do you wear? 10? Right here? Get yourself something to eat. And then here, take these.
Sure, so he's removing his shoes.
Come on. Take these. I can buy something. Take these. Come on. Take it. Positive. Take it. Don't worry about it. Take it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. Take the sneakers. God bless you, all right? No problem, man. Don't be embarrassed. Don't worry about it. You hear me? No problem, man. No, I'm not a person. God bless you. No problem. No problem. I'm sorry. No problem, man. Please don't cry, man.
Start all over again, just without the noise. So I think this is one of our brothers. He might be on the platform now, watching us, and he started going now. He was just going to, to work, and he's seeing this guy there all the time. There are people like all of us have been like that. He's been seeing all this all the time. But this day, he just decided, there's this guy. No, let it be big. Let it be big. There is this guy that I've been seeing out there every day. I'm passing him by, driving by in my own car, nice car. So he went and bought a blanket. He had some money, but he never thought of what they call sneakers. Yeah, so he never thought of the sneakers. But when he saw the guy's sneakers in winter, this is winter, you know what he did? He removed his own. Because he has a car, so he's going back home without a shoe in his socks. He gave the guy money to go buy something. This is a blanket to sleep on, a coat. He gave him his coat. You see? He removed his coat, gave him his coat. And the guy was just broken with love, crying. He can't believe it. I mean, everybody can reveal Jesus like this every day. For him to have done that, he did not put himself first. And just like all the people we have seen, they know that they are only a channel of God's love to others. Just like the cook, just like the restaurant, we are only a channel of God's blessing. And that's what we do when, it doesn't matter. Either you are taking care of somebody in the street, or you are doing something bigger, you are changing the nation, we are only a channel of God's blessing. When we put God first, the most important thing is not even what we do. It's about just being a channel of God's extension of God's goodness, God's love to the world. Okay? So everything we possess, everything we have, must be used to serve and glorify Him. And how do we serve and glorify Him? By serving people, by taking care of people. And think the best of all people, minister to all people. Okay, no question today? All right. Oy, sorry. Okay, we're going to open the line for calls. And but before we do that, we are going to show some of the things we do in Ukraine for a few minutes, and then we'll open the line for the calls. So here we go. See some of our work here in Ukraine, and then we are going to receive your calls.
I should understand some periodicity. This is just for the foreigners to know what's going on. This is like you have the red, just like you have the Red Cross, in the West. Now, here, this is not Red Cross, but it's a military. It's national military. Not the government military, but the national. It's a national movement. So this is the military that the country used to have before communists came. So it's being restored. They are regarded as the most patriotic people in the country that live for the ideals of restoring the real Ukraine culture, values, and nation. So this is every Ukrainian is called Kazakh. This Ukrainian nation was known as warrior nation, and they used to be hired all over Europe to go for war before the nation of Ukraine was formed. So now that national spirit moved the most patriotic people, but these people here, they are not just generals in the Red Cross, like in this Kazakh army, but they are also generals from the military, from the official Ukrainian military. So they are generals who are also reviving the spirit of patriotism, but with values. So today, we are going to have generals, people, the first major general is one of our pastors, and they are going to have 21 other generals from the Embassy of God today.
Итак, сегодня получит звание 21 генерал-майор.
So he's a general, major general, and we are going to have 21 other major generals from the Embassy of God standing on the stage. The people on the front are going to be major generals.
22 полковника.
22 colonels. Is it colonel? You call them? Colonels.
38 подполковников.
38 lieutenant colonel. Lieutenant colonel.
8 майоров.
8 mayors.
30 капитанов.
Majors. Yeah, majors.
И 1 старший лейтенант. Старший лейтенант.
30 captains.
1 старший лейтенант.
And 1 lieutenant. Senior lieutenant. So, that's it. Dайте Богу аплодисменты.
Каждый командир подразделения имеет свое войско. Цели сегодня нашего войска – это воссоздание казаческого народа, создание территориальных общин. Сегодня Министерство образования включило в программу казацкое самоврядування в школах и духовным войском.
What he's saying is, these people, because it's regarded as a grassroots.
Anyway, I think I will just explain to you. Just let it play without voice. I will be explaining. So what the whole idea is that this is one of the ways that a church should influence the society, bring the value system to the generals, train the generals to live and abide by the value system of the scriptures. That's how to change the military. The churches should, like in Nigeria, for example, everybody is complaining. Oh, the churches are, what are they doing? The police is corrupt. Why should you just sit down in church and say you are corrupt? Go into their barracks. Go sponsor their projects. Go help them resolve their issues. Go with programs to be able to train their leadership and train the whole police in value system. That's what we did in Ukraine. That's how we are able to eliminate that corruption from the society. Then that is what we do in the military. So go train the military. Go partner with the military. Go partner with the government. Go partner with police. You know, train people, influence the government. Even if your members are not generous or whatever, but go bring the influence of the kingdom of God there through your training. That's how you change a nation. You don't just sit in church singing and clapping and saying that you are going to change the nation. You know, the nation will change just because you are clapping in church. No. The nation will change when you go out and send your people, like all these generals and lieutenants from our church, when you send people out from your church, so what is their purpose? Their purpose is not to get, pride and say we are generals, we are proud. No. Their purpose is to bring the values of the kingdom of God. But how do you bring the value? When you are influential, when you are at the top. If you are not at the top of the system, you cannot influence. Your influence will be limited. So that's why our people are trained to become the best wherever they are. And as they bring the kingdom, they are the best. Everybody wants to listen to the best. You want to learn what made you to become the best. So these are the kind of things that we can do. But we have a system. We have a whole strategy of how to bring all this to Nigeria. But at least you have to see it so that you will know that this guy has done it before. And so he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about Nigeria. Well, do we have any callers? Does anybody want to call today? Okay, let's see. If you want to call, the way to call is Facebook Messenger, Move Agents, Facebook Messenger, Move Agents. What happened today? It's like they don't have, do they have comments today? Okay, and they have the things? Okay, because I'm not seeing anything here. Huh? It's not showing? Is it showing your own place? Okay. So if anybody is hearing us and you want to call in right now. You go to Facebook Messenger, not Facebook, but Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger and Facebook Messenger Move Agents. That's the word. Move Agents on Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger Move Agents. Meanwhile, let me tell you about the latest books that have just been released. By the way, anybody can become a distributor of these books. So you can all become a distributor of these books. The latest one here is how to live an effective life. You say, that's a major, that has been my concern for a long time. This was my concern. I was thinking, okay, I have life. Okay, I believe in God. But how do I maximize that life? How do I live? How do I make life effective? How do I live an effective life? I look for it. I was looking for it since I was in my 20s. And I was saying, if I get the keys, I'll be able to teach the world. And I got it. That's why I wrote this book. To just help people live an effective life. Okay, we have a caller here. Hello?
Hello, dear sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Who is that, please?
It's Nkechi from London.
Nkechi, how are you? How is your husband also there? Shima?
He is. I tried calling yesterday. We waited to say to appreciate you yesterday, but eventually the line went off yesterday.
No problem. Today is here.
Yeah. Are you hearing me well? Yeah.
Very well. Very well.
All right. Yeah. What is it going on?
How is Mr. Shima? Is Mr. Shima there?
Yeah. So, I really thank God for the messages that have been going on since you started the love series. Honestly, it's really blown my mind. And it looks as if even like it's changing my whole mental composition, you know.
That is good.
Yeah, it's like you're thinking that you're doing, you're trying, you're getting there, and each message comes again. You're like, oh God, this one look very, very different, and it just blow your mind off. And I just want to thank God for your life, and it's been great, you know. It's like looking at so many things you've been teaching us through this whole week, you know, about loving one another. And even for me to look at the 1 John chapter 4 verse 7 again, I'm just looking at it, seeing it from another perspective, you know. And it's been really a blessing, you know. Like the week you showed us, like, I think the lady and the man that was walking behind her, and so many thoughts and the emotion like went, and I'm like, you know what? Is it how we really show love? And you think you're loving people, and we haven't really gone to the depth of how Christ, you know, will love us and give Himself for us. And that has been a very, very blessful message. I just want to thank God for your life, and that you keep on doing what you've been doing. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so very much, man. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband want to say hello to you anyway.
Yes.
Hello, dear sir. Good evening, every member of the family.
How are you, Mr. Shiba? How is everything in London?
Everything's all right. Everything's all right. We are keyed onto the teaching every day.
Thank you so much for your support and for your presence.
Yeah, we appreciate. Keep doing what you are doing, and we are listening, and we are part of it, and propagating the whole message. The message of love is why it's mind blowing, and it's another angle of seeing the same, not seeing life, Christ's love.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Okay. Let me show you another book. This one is a bomb. This is the very last one. It's called How to Transform and Build a Civilized Nation. This is for nation builder. This is for people who are concerned about nations. I actually wrote it in Russian, but we translated it to English. Yep. Hello?
Hello, dear sir.
Family. Sister Angela.
Dear sir.
Sister Angela, the firebrand. Here you are.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I'm very strong today.
Okay.
I just want to say yes. I thank God for the message of love you have been teaching. God will bless you, continue to keep you. We'll continue to practice this love. And I advise everybody to do the little you can do. There are many ways to show love to our fellow human beings. Today I went to hospital. When I went, I saw the doctor. Some of the drugs they wrote for me, they're not in the hospital. I have to pick it in a pharmacy. So it was a big pharmacy. When I went there, people are on queue. They are on queue. And one boy just entered there. He was so worried. It's like he's a driver to this big man. So he was so worried. He was complaining. He said that the Oga said he should buy this medicine, go and give the daughter at home, and come to the airport to pick him within 40 minutes. And I don't know how this boy will meet up. And before you know it, a lot of people just stood on the line because all of us were on the line. As soon as they had it, everybody was complaining. That's your business. On a second, I talked to myself. I said, this boy is a driver. If he didn't meet up, this man sack him, it's a problem. And this is where he's getting his daily bread. Notwithstanding, I was having a terrible headache. I need to go home. I said, my brother, use my tongue. Take my tongue. Because I was the second to go. So he said, until you said, I said, use my tongue. So he said, thank you, God bless you. He used my tongue and walked away. So when I wanted to go, one person came and said, no, that I'll use your tongue. I said, no problem, I can stay here and finish. Before you know it, about 2 other three started selling drug again. At the end of the day, there was a lot of hands to sell. I was able to get what I want and left for home. What I was saying, there's no love in us. We don't consider other people. No matter the shoes we find ourselves. As you say, love is not selfish. You can always think for others before yourself. But today, what we have, what of me? How come? If they sack him, that is his business. Why didn't he? We don't consider what benefit that boy is getting from that job he's doing. You come to churches today, all we have is every testimony is centered on I. Carry me, they go. Jesus, carry me, they go. Carry me, they go. Jesus, carry me, they go. I am moving forward. The other person should not move forward. The other person, Jesus should not carry her and go. Somebody will come and give testimony. This month, God bless me with a Venzaka. The other last month, God gave me a building. The other month, God sent me to US. The other month, God sent 30 billion to me. The other month, my colleague gave me a contract of 75 billion. Every time, I. And in all, after you do all these things, what did you do for God? The pastor will clap and tell them to bring 10%. And all that contract, when they build estates, those estates are locked. DSA come to Abuja. You will see empty houses locked for years. People are sleeping under the bridge. People are sleeping in the road. People don't have what to do. But houses are locked. There are estates in millions locked. And people are suffering. And even when people want to rent it, they will be telling them a year, 5 billion, 5 million. They don't care. Instead, Nigerian people prefer that house to be locked so that their brothers and sisters will sleep inside the gutter, so that their brothers and sisters will sleep on the road. They don't care even if motor killed them. And the churches, the pastors that are supposed to preach the truth, they are not saying it. Instead, in some of these churches, they buy the land, they build the estates, and they still keep the estates at a high rate. And it was still the members that contributed money to buy that land. And when the same members go to buy the house, they will say a 3-bedroom bungalow is 35 million. From where will they have it? And you don't think that you should bring these houses down so that your members that contributed this money will have it. That's another thing. Like what you are showing, how you change the situation of the military. Here, what we hear, even Mountain of Fire, will tell you that the police, the uniform people are in courses. And what are you doing to reduce the courses people render to them on a daily basis? Even the ones that come to church, have you preached Christ Jesus' love to them? Have you visited them? And treat them the basic principles of love of our Lord Jesus Christ. We claim to be Christian. It's not gathering people. At times when they talk to me, I tell the pastor, it's not me that you should preach to. Move out. Don't stay in the building and start deceiving people. Don't stay in the building and start deceiving people. The love they preach is the love to show to that cabal in churches. There is a cabal. There is a group of people, people that matter, people that have money. They move together. They dance together. They have their own place. And that is the love they are talking of. The love that a general should show to a millionaire. When it is Christmas, people are dying. There are people that don't have anything to cook that day. Before you know it, people are packing food to go and give a governor. People are packing food to go and give a politician. People are packing food to go and give somebody that will throw it after some time. I visited one of my auntie one day. The husband works in beggar. When I went to her kitchen, look at almost 20 bags of rice. He heaped there. So she took me to the kitchen. Whether she thinks she wants to intimidate me, she don't know that all these things, I see it as nothing. So when I entered there, I said, are you selling rice? He said, no, it's what they give her husband in the office. I said, then what are these 20 bags of rice doing here? He said, no, they are here. Some have gotten weevil. I said, my sister, dispose this rice. More will come. Give it to the poor. Give it to the needy. You have 20 bags of rice in here. They are wasting. After some time, you throw it away. And this person is a deacon. Is a deaconess in the church. And the husband is a pastor, pastoring one particular church. And people are dying of hunger. And before you know it, these people that are dying for hunger are bringing more food to them. They cannot change anything. When you come to ministry, they say there's corruption. There are pastors in that ministry, in those organizations. What impact have they effected to change people? How have they treated people to know that Jesus loved them? There's nothing you can use to change a human being apart from love. Love changes every situation. When I was in one office, there was a guy was moving. Something happened to one Muslim. He said, Jesus. I said, oh God, why do you call that name? He said, Madam, what? Because I rock with them. He said, Madam, I love that man, Jesus. But the problem is the followers. They don't behave like him. They are so greedy. They are so wicked. They hate themselves. And look at the way they categorize us. And if the Muslims that we are condemning that are behaving like Christ, they give, they love, forget about the other things that are happening. They love, they give. The Muslim cannot see you in need and will never pass help and that will never minister love to you. Even when they're driving on the street, when they see this beggar, these people that I need, they drop something for them. But the Christians will wind up their glasses. They will be singing, Holy Ghost, do it again. Which Holy Ghost are we talking? Which Holy Spirit are we calling upon? Holy Spirit is a spirit that is clean, that loves people, a spirit that embraces people. It's not a wicked spirit. It's not a spirit that fellowship with one person. It's a fellowship that wants to have fellowship with every other person. What you are teaching us is right. And I pray that the Spirit of God will enter into every person. Even as we are sharing these messages, the Spirit of God will enter into each and every one of us, even us that are watching. Because it's easy to say, write down DSA. But when it comes to practical, let us do it. Let us do it. Love is not for your relations alone. Love is not for tribe. It's not because he's an Igbo person. It's not because he's a Yoruba person. It's not because he's an Hausa person. It's not because he's a white. Love is for everybody. Because Jesus Christ died. He showed love for the righteous and the unrighteous. And we have no person, no right to judge anybody when they're in need. What happens in Nigeria, if your sister or your brother is in need and asks you for help, what they will think is he wants to use the money and tie their destiny. At times you will see people that are claiming that they are tying their destiny. They are already poor. And you are saying that somebody wants to take your money and tie your destiny. Which destiny is he tying again? Not knowing that it's the love you will show will lose that destiny. You are saying that they have tied. The churches are not doing well. The individuals are not doing well. Christianity is not by mouth. It's not religion. Christianity is practical. And what is the practical? Love It's not judging others. I like this, your teaching. That is the beginning and the end of Christianity. That is the peak of the whole thing. And by the grace of God, we will succeed. You know what it is for me that is here in Nigeria. I call every day. People threaten me. People call me. But I don't give a damn, because the word of God said, if you wait that you want to protect your life, you will lose it. But if you want to lose it, he will protect it. I am not the one that protects life. I have somebody in heaven who seated in heaven and make the earth his footstool, who will protect your life, who will protect my life, who will protect the life of every member of this family. We are not afraid. I am not afraid. I am not going to stop. I will continue to call, and I will wait for the person that died on the cross of Calvary, that created me and known me when I was in my mother's womb, to come and arrest and kill me. They can't do me anything, because he that is in me is greater than he that is operating in them. Jesus Christ will keep you. He will lead you. This commission he has given you to do, and you have accepted it, he is able to carry you on till the end. I assure you, we are with you. Your family are with you. Nothing will happen. And by the grace of God, we will make an impact, and we will change this nation, Nigeria, in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so very, very much. Wow, 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 wow. You are strong. And I thought I was going to pray for you, but I know that you are so strong that you would need to pray for me.
Amen.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so this one is how to transform and build a civilized nation. Yeah, it's just a pleasure. It's an interesting read. It's going to you're just going to have hope all of a sudden, because you'll be able to do something about your nation. Work is better than vacation. Labor better than favor. Work is better than vacation, labor, that's the truth, but what they teach in Africa these days is... Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Adeshola, you are the one calling today. It's not Osaro.
Yes. He's downstairs. I'm upstairs.
All right. Still good, because it's been a while since you called. You've not called for some
I've
time
just
now.
been taking a lot of things in. I just... I've been listening, and I've been questioning myself, and I'm trying to measure my level of love for God. And I'm taking it in, and I'm just like a student, and trying to listen and knowing where I need to work on, because that is the truth. We all have to work on this love. We've not attained it fully, but this is all that the Lord is required of us. And a scripture just came to my mind in Matthew 6, chapter 31. This scripture, I got to understand this thing fully, because it's as if a lot of us, we ask God for what we want, but not actually what we need. And I think that is the most important thing in the eyes of the Father, making God our first love. It says, therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. That means God knows that you need all these things. So you don't need to seek after them. You just have to fall in love with the Father. Yeah. Just hearing these things that you are teaching us today, we don't need to ask for. And if we keep asking them, that means we are in want of those things. We are in want of those things. And wants are not something that should be part of us. It is what we need. And that is His only need that God responds to. God responds to our need. And the most important thing in the eyes of the Father is for us to love Him. And loving Him is loving others. Doing what God is, what pleases God. And going out there to show the love to people. Then I now begin to take a look on this platform. I see that the number has reduced so drastically. Then I'm taking it upon myself. I said, okay, if I know people, because I know a lot of people in Nigeria, I could tell that probably some people from Nigeria might still be listening, or outside, the Western world might still be listening to this message, but it's going to be very few. You could tell that a lot of people that are still here, maybe they have internet, they have access to internet and all that. But I could tell that there's so many people out there that have not really gotten to understand this message of love. And some of them will say, I don't have enough data, I don't have enough this. But I've been taking it upon myself to tell people, okay, what can you do if you have to send money to them to come to this platform? So be it. Because this is an outstretch of love you are sharing to them. Because you cannot reach them physically to tell them to come, but we can reach them, by our money. Okay, go and buy enough data to come and listen, because I believe that this message is the only thing that can bring a lot of change to our life as a Christian and to the nation Nigeria. Looking at so many things going on in the church now, I know there is a program going on in Redeem right now, and I could see thousands of people attending the program. I'm not saying they shouldn't attend the program, but what I'm saying now is the truth of the matter is there is no love. There is no love in the heart of people. These are the same people, they will come outside the four walls of that building and they will go to their different workplaces and still be doing things that is contrary to the word of God. So you now begin to ask, where is the love of all the services they have gone for? It would be better for them not to be in that service, but being outside there doing the kingdom work. So this thing just came to my mind. I was like, this is just too heavy for us to take in to ourselves. We cannot just take this word and keep it to ourselves. We keep talking about it. We keep telling others. The one we cannot, the one that we cannot reach physically, we can reach them by sending them money, those that doesn't have money to get enough data, because this is the only way we can show them love. Then if they refuse to do that, you have done your part in the heart of the Father. But then even at that, you cannot stop loving them. You cannot stop reaching out to them. So I just want to say this because this is so big. It's so big in the eyes of the Father. Coming to understand that this message of love is the alpha and the omega of our life. And Dr. Sunday, even if you stop this message of love and you still go to another topic, I think this message of love should still be ringing in our hearts. Our approach to God, our coming to the presence of God, everything we do is still centered around this love, because that is the only thing that is going to stand before our Maker. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunday, for this thing.
The place you just read, the scripture you just read,
yes,
Adeshola, that scripture you just read, I did a whole series on it. It's called...
Oh, what series is that?
Paganism series, it's called.
Okay.
Paganism.
Yes, I was under that teaching of paganism.
Yeah,
yes.
Paganism series. So, because actually, because in that scripture, you see, Jesus said, don't worry about what to eat, what to drink, what to drink, and what to wear. Now,
what to wear, yes.
Because for such seek the Gentiles.
The Gentiles.
Okay.
Yes.
Or the pagans in the Old Testament. The
yes.
pagans. Okay. So I was saying that the difference between a Christian and a pagan, what Jesus was trying to tell people is that what qualifies you as a pagan what we seek after. When you seek after things, but not after him, then you are a pagan. So people who seek after children, and that is what is motivating you, whatever is driving you to believe in God or to come after God, that is your God. If it's not God, if it's not the desire to know God, if it's the desire to just get blessed, or to to have children, or to have what to eat, what to drink, or where to live, anything that is physical, that is what makes pagans pagans. It is not the idol, the images and statues that makes pagans pagans. Yes. It is the desire of the heart. So whatever is, so the difference between pagans and Christians is what drives them to God. So
what drives them exactly.
Everybody goes to church in Nigeria, like you have said. Those people, it's better for them not to go, because if they are going, they are being driven by self needs and by their own needs. Then they are practicing paganism, not Christianity. Yes, whatever drives you. If you are being driven by the desire to go and know Him more, to go and love Him more, to go and express your love for Him, to go and draw closer to Him, to go and discover him, to go and become one with him, then you are a Christian.
Exactly.
So the only thing that should be driving you to God is love for God. But if you are being driven by and love for people.
You know,
yes, go ahead.
Dr. Sunday, I came to a point since last year. I looked at my wardrobe. You know, America is a materialistic environment. I've worked in a departmental store before where they sell clothing and all that. Trust me, I have so much clothes. And I said, this is crazy. I came to my senses last year. I said, this is crazy. I looked at my wardrobe. I said, how could you amass so material things to yourself? You can't even wear two clothes at the same time. You can't wear two shoes. I have a lot of shoes. I have a lot of bags. I said, I cannot even carry two bags. If I carry two bags, then I'm crazy. Then I said, Shola, you got to stop buying clothes. What I have to do now is to find a way of giving people these clothes. That is, I came to that point in my life that I choose to be materialistic. I don't want to buy stuff that I'm not going to wear. Even when you buy, you must have a reason. Because the truth of the matter is everything that the Lord has blessed us with is not for us. It is for others to enjoy. God has given us everything, but everything that the Lord has blessed us with is for others to be able to partake of that blessing from us. Then I came to that point, I said, all this your clothes. He said, the day I go to the store and buy clothes for myself, then I should be whipped. I cannot go and buy clothes for myself anymore because I see that my closet is full of clothing, my shoes, my bags, and I cannot wear them at the same time. I had to stop buying those things. I said, now I know a lot of people that are so much in need around me. I started sending, I started giving. I said, the more I give, I feel much at rest in my heart because I'm not taking all these things for myself. And that is why I'm pleading to every one of us. For as many that the Lord has blessed us with, it could be in the simplest thing ever. It's not for us. It is for others. It could be wisdom in knowing some things around you. It could be health discussion. Like I have a sister Idore. I could see that she's sharing all the knowledge she has concerning health issues. You know, you share with her that you cannot keep those things to yourself. Is it finances? And you have taught us so much on how to live financially. So we don't run after those things. Those things become secondary. They become so minute in the eyes of God because what you are seeking after pleasing God, you know, doing the things that pleases the Father. So when we look at all this teaching, it helps us to go back to the corner of our room and just fall on the floor and say, God, I just want to love you. I just want to do your will. You know, when the Lord taught us, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. How is this will of the Lord is being done? By doing the will of the Father, by pleasing him, by loving him with the whole of our heart. You know, you were telling us today when the Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all thy soul, with all your mind, and the analysis you were giving is just mind-blowing. You know, so when we come to that point and understand that this is what the Lord requires of us, I tell you, material things, even if people are buying cars around you, it doesn't amass to nothing. When people are buying houses or anything, those things are just secondary. Because even when the Lord bless you with those things, you know that you are using it to advance the kingdom. So I just want to encourage every one of us, as we are students, I'm a student, and I have to pass this exam. I have to pass this exam of law. I'm hearing this is another test. I go out there and I do. As a student, you are a doer. Until you pass this exam, you cannot move to another level. And this is an exam that is being given to us to go out there and practicalize it. You start with your environment, not even only your family, outside your family, people that might not even know that you are doing it. You start doing it, then you are pleasing the Father. So, Dr. Sunday, I can't even say much more. That I don't know how to say it. If I keep talking, I will just keep going and going. But I just want to thank God for this teaching that is bringing transformation to people's life, for us to understand what is the most important thing in the eyes of the Father, which is love. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Help me greet my brother there. Blessings. Now, this teaching we have done today and we are doing this week is actually in this book about life, that is, the essence and value of life. Because the essence of life is not known to many. And, that's why I wrote this one, for people to just understand. You see, it's different from this other one. This one is living an effective life, and this one is knowing what life is. This is the definition. What's the meaning of life? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Who is calling?
Akin from Nigeria.
Yes, Dr. Akin, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir.
Nice to hear from you today.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for the teaching on love too.
Yes, I hope you got it.
Our eyes are being open every day. Even when we think we love, when we listen to you, I look at myself and I'm like, man, how did I get to this stage? that my heart has become so cold.
That's the whole.
You go to church, you are being taught to love yourself, and you think it is normal. You look around, people, they are in pain, you don't care. You assume it's because they don't have love, they don't love God. That's why they're suffering. But today, with these teachings, my eyes have been opened. Listening to your series on prayers, I realized that what we used to go to church to do, it shouldn't be our priority.
No.
It is this message of love. Because for God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son down to come and die for us. It is love. It is the love that is the first. It is love that is the last. That is what we should live for. Yesterday, I have so many old people around me, and I was worried the way they are so anxious about death. They are anxious about everything around them. And I sat down, I was asking God, what is happening? Why are these people like this? How can I help them? And God opened my eyes that these people, they all live for themselves. They love themselves. They love their children. They love their family. And it is because of this, they are so anxious. If I die, what will happen to them? What will this be? How would that be? That is why they are so anxious in their old age. So if our love is not self-centered, it will love according to the dictates of the Bible, we will have peace even in our old age. So this is a message that everybody should embrace. Like Sister Adeshola said, we are all students. It is something we need to keep learning. Even when you think you are on top of it, that you have passed, you still have to look deep inside yourself. There's still something more for you to learn in love. So thank you very much, DSA. I hope and I pray that Nigerians and Africans that are listening to this series, and I pray that more people will even listen to the series online later, even after you must have finished with the series, so that things will change around for us. That is what we need in Africa. That's what we need in Nigeria. We are talking about failed system. We are talking about corruption. We are talking about everything revolves around love. If we love, we will not be corrupt. If we love, we won't cheat others. Like the example of the guy we showed that was putting drugs inside chicken. It is lack of love. And one thing I noticed that when you lack love, your creativity is misused. Your God-given capacity becomes abused. You don't really discover yourself because you lack love. Your love is you are only thinking about yourself, so you are unable to task that capacity that God has given, that latent energy that God has given you. You are unable to task it to bring out the full expression of its capacity. So we all need love. We need to keep learning and keep expressing it, practicing it every day. That way, Nigeria will be a better place. Africa will change. The churches in Africa will change. Thank you very much, DSA. I can continue to talk on this topic. It's such. I don't know why God led you to this early this year. I mean, there's a purpose, there's a reason for it.
What,
and I think it's the foundation.
Why God did what?
Is it? I said, I don't know why God led you into this topic of love now, so that you teach on it now. There's definitely a reason why God led you into it, to teach on it now, because that's the foundation for everything.
So if I was going to teach it next year or next week, it's not the same, eh? Or last year?
No, what I'm saying is that it's like a foundation being laid now. You've taught on love before,
right?
But bringing it now is like a fresh one. I don't know how to put it. It's coming out stronger.
Yeah, well,
and that's because all the other teachings that people are finding difficult to accept is because there's no love in them.
Yeah.
So when they hear this message of love, talking about giving and all the other stuff, it will be so easy for them to accept it. It will be so easy for them to know that cousin, that witch, that they are praying die every day, they will realize that I need to love this person and not pray for that person to die.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, DSA. God bless you. And I pray God will release you soon to come to Nigeria. We are waiting for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, sir.
Yep. Okay. An important book here for you guys too. A visionless life is a meaningless life. This is all about vision. Vision. Nothing greater than that. So learn to live a visionary life.
Hello, DSA.
Yes, sir. Who is that?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm calling from US.
Okay. You don't want to mention?
My name is Osagi. I've been your I've been following you. I've actually, let me be very honest. I'm one of your disciples.
Oh, wow. Osagi, yeah.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad this is happening in such a time.
I will remember the name Osagi.
Dr. Sole Abilaja. I'm so glad because let me tell you this. Let me be very honest. Let me be very, very straight.
Okay, sir.
You are actually fulfilling prophecy, DSA. You are fulfilling prophecy. God has prepared you for this hour, and it is divine. Because there was a day I've been praying about this. God, I'm a young man. I'm in my 30s. You know, as a young boy, as a young guy, I'll be praying for reformation in the churches, and mostly reformation in Africa. I mean, I'll be praying for this, and my area of focus is mostly in the church, and the church has not been helping situation for all this while, and I've been praying, interceding about this thing. And then one day, just before I got connected to your program, one day I walked into my room, and my Bible, I was meditating on the Word of God, but that wasn't the scripture that I opened that particular day. But I walked into my room, I saw the book of Jeremiah chapter 25 open down. That was opened by the Holy Spirit, and I began to read. And that scripture God was speaking about from verse 1 to the last verse. It was speaking about judgment for the nations, how he judged his nation Israel, and how the other nations outside Israel will not be left and will not be forgiven. Because if he had punished his nation Israel, other nations will not be forgiven about that. And as somewhere he said that churches and leaders, it was actually referring to leaders, shepherds of people, they will also be punished.
Yeah.
Another day again, I saw another one again in the book of Zechariah chapter 5 from verse 1 to 2, where he talk about a flying scroll, where God speak about judgment for the churches and those who speak falsely in his name and deceive his people. I was like, God, this is the time of, God has answered our prayer until I got connected to your program. And I said, okay, glory to God. I've seen a man after God's heart. And I begin to follow your program. I begin to listen. As at this time, I kept my reserve because I want to make sure that I'm not in the wrong place. I begin to listen, and this is the first time I made a moment to come. Wow. I want to say, Dr. Sunday, I'm so glad you made yourself available for this work. And please, please, may God continue to strengthen you to do this work. And anytime you are ready to go to Nigeria, because I heard you are planning to go to Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
Just know that I am one of your soldiers. I'm one of your disciples.
Wow.
And I'm in support. And I'm also talking to people around here so that, I don't know, like somebody wrote a comment. It said, those that brought have learned a lot of laws. And that is true. If there's any way, as long as God has given me this vision to set up a platform in Nigeria, I am one of the people that God has chosen to be among your program, to be your disciple, to propagate this good thing that God has put in your mind. Because I see that, yes, God answered prayer, and I see that, yes, it's about to he's actually judging the church right now, he's reforming the church, and he's also judging the world. We can see it's all over. And God is using it to champion this movement. And I'm glad. I'm so glad God is using it. I'm so glad. I don't know the kind of heart. Your heart is so open to God. And God is using it because the Bible is so obvious. The word of God is true. And the Bible says, let every other man be lie and let God be true. What they are speaking is true. And we are praying for our other fellow brethren who are in the churches right now, that they too will caught up with these truths. I'm so happy. Thank you, Dr. Sunday Adelaja. I'm so glad for this wonderful job you are doing.
What state are you in the U.S.?
I'm in Dallas.
Okay, Dallas. Good. Well, maybe I should tell you this, that I'm not going to move to you. Maybe I don't need to talk about it. Don't worry. You will know about this later.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Desi. I'm so glad. Thank you.
All right. Blessings. Okay. Okay. Let me tell you guys about another book that we have here, which is called Pastor Face Your Calling. Now, this book is about what people always say. You are a Christian, just serve God as a pastor or as a minister, or, you can only serve God in the church. Face your calling. Just, don't bother to touch any national issues. Just face your calling. Well, I'm debunking that myth here. I'm saying, nope. Everything is our calling. You've got to, the whole earth should interest you. And don't let anybody sit you in the church. Don't let anybody lock you up in the church. Come out of that church and pull the pulpit. You see the pulpit here is put in the middle of the street. Pull the pulpit out of the four walls of the church and put it in the church. Another book that is here this one is a challenging book. Ooh, you are going to get challenged. It's called I Am a Person, but am I a personality? I'm a person, but okay, is that not good enough? Are you a personality? Well, think about it. How Africans brought civilization to Europe. I wrote this for the Russians because I was thinking they are looking down on black people too much, and of course I wrote it for my black fellow people, so I wrote it in Russian first. But you know what? I translated to English, and I think all Africans need to read this book, How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. Okay, who is the next caller?
Hello, good evening, DSA.
Yes, sir. Who is calling from where?
It's Peter calling from Belgium.
All right, Peter. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine, and you? I'm one of your disciples too.
Beautiful. My pleasure.
I'm very happy to listen to you every day.
Okay.
Every time with my wife.
Right.
I'm so happy. I'm so blessed with the love series that you are teaching now. It's a mind blowing, and it has opened my heart deep more by bringing more understanding of love.
Yeah.
To me, I'm really so very blessed, and it has changed me in my house. Things I think I do best. Before, I think those things were nothing. First of all, in my family, in my house, I'm praying very hardly for my wife to join me to be listening to this message as well. But she have interest, but she have not really have time to listen. I always tell her what is happening and what you are doing and everything, but she has not really picked interest about it.
Yeah, because so I'm sure she.
I'm really praying hard for her to pick interest, so that we can join together and follow your message and do the things that I'm planning to do. God has really opened my eyes since I've been watching your program. More more understanding what to do, what is the next step to do. I'm so very happy. It's a blessing.
Just make sure that you don't force your wife. Just keep on expressing love to her.
Yes, I'm doing it. I just want to. We don't have any problem as a marriage couple, but I just want her to key into this message, your program, so that we can share the understanding together. We can know more better. That is what I'm praying for.
Yeah, through your kindness.
She will understand what I'm talking about you, what I'm doing, why the reason why I'm listening to your messages and everything. But she has been seeing the changes as well. Things have been happening the way. No, it's a testimony. I know that it's already a testimony in my life. And other people to have been sharing your message too. So because of that, I have problem in my local church here. I've said it before. I have not been in my church since this year, beginning of this year, because I went to a program in Germany, in Nuremberg. So I did my New Year and Christmas there in the church, a program there. So when I came back, before I left the church, my church member, my general overseer from the, we call it GO, came and started questioning me why am I sharing your message, following
you are following the Antichrist.
The name of the devil.
Yes, you are following the Antichrist.
Yes,
that's the problem. You shouldn't follow the Antichrist.
To me. Hello?
I said you did follow the Antichrist.
Yes, and I'm following the Antichrist. So I didn't see anything. I was very angry. I was very angry in my spirit, but I didn't see anything. I just left. I said, okay, the next thing I will do, if you don't want to see anything anymore, I will block him from my Facebook. So I came back home that day. Then when I came back, 2 days later, my local pastor, resident pastor, called me and he said, Brother Peter, I want to talk with you. The Reverend said, I said, they have already told me, no problem. So I decided again. I said, I don't want anybody to talk with me about it. I don't want to listen to them, but when I want to talk, the things I will say will be maybe I don't know how the Spirit will lead me to speak. So I said I don't want to talk anything about it. So when I came back from Germany, the week, precisely on the 4th of January, a sister, very close family friend of mine, he came to visit us. We bought something for her from Germany. And he wanted to bring the same topic because she's very close to me. So I shut her down and said, you should not dare at all talk about it. I said, then I gave her your information. I gave her so you should go to YouTube and check about you. Combine all the pastors here in Europe, Belgium, all these ones that I have seen, Nigerian pastors, combine them together. They are not even 1% of you. I said, so what I have learned. So I shut her up. I was very aggressive with her. I was very angry. So my wife was even telling me to take it easy. So she left. Since then, I've not been to church. I went to a Pentecostal church, a white Pentecostal church here. There are only 2 or 3 blocks there, close to my city. I've been going there since the beginning of this year. So just to cut the long story short, the people have been calling me in my church. Peter, they have not been seeing you. They have not been seeing you, like that. But I keep on telling them I will come. I'll have something doing. Because most of the people, I blocked some of the members that they went to complain. I had it. I blocked more than 4 of them from my Facebook. If it is that, they say I'm corrupting the church, I'm corrupting the other members. I said, okay, time we come, then we hear. So my pastor just passed by. I just came back from church not too long. They were coming. She just passed by with the family. My local pastor here, my church here. So he said he take it as a responsibility to see me. I don't know what is happening. So I was very open to him. I said, Reverend told me that I should not be following Antichrist. I said, you guys said don't judge, but you guys are judging. I said, you said we should not judge anybody. We should not judge the man of God. I said, this man is a man of God. I now quote the book of Isaiah 62 verse 1 that you teach a couple of days ago. Yeah. And I said, we have to ask questions. So I cannot really quote the verse now, but I listen when you teach about that verse in the Bible. Yes. So and I use it for my pastor. He was just looking at me. And I told him, I said, Pastor, I said, look, I said, my mentality now, the way I see things, is different from the way you teach.
Your mumu don't disappear.
Yes. I now told him, I said, because I said I didn't want to go more and more, so that he should not be disappointed that he came to me at home. He came to miss me at home. So I controlled most of the things that I want to. Was coming, the thing that was coming out from my mouth. And I told them, I said, look, he was the one that gave me your contact. I said, because he teach about it one day in the church, he mentioned your name. I said, when he said it in a way that some pastors are destroying, they are the people that is going to destroy the work of God. So he now mentioned your name. He has been listening to you. He was a Yoruba guy. He's a very young guy, very brilliant guy. I like his teaching. I told him, I said, when you started with teaching the word, and the word was transforming life. I said, I've not been to a church since I came to Europe with a pen and paper. It was through you 4 or 5 years ago when I met you, when we started this branch together. I started writing things from the Bible. I said, all of a sudden you changed. You changed and started doing other things. I said, you were teaching the word, and the word was just changing lives. I said, you gave me Pastor Sunday information. So when I got home, I check on him. I check on his messages. So I fall in love immediately. I told him, I said I fall in love immediately. So he was trying to talk about your disciples, talking about the Jews, insulting the Jews. I told him, I said, look, there are some things that we know before, but we don't have the capacity or the power to say it. I said, but now authority. I said, then we now have a higher authority that now started to open our eyes. He don't talk about tithes. He said, the king. I said, look, Pastor, he didn't say that people should not pay tithes or should not help the church. I said, but where and what are we using the money for? And I told him, I said, I went to a church. I told him, I said, I went to a church when I went to Christmas with my family to Delhi. I said, the pastor there is a Nigerian man. Is in Newberg. I said, I have not seen it in Belgium or in Holland. He called most of about 10 people from this, because I was a visitor. He noticed my presence. So he gave me a receipt. It was an orphanage home in Nigeria that is helping. And he gave each and everybody that receipt that he have used throughout that year, that he have used to help people in Africa. Orphanage, and so a seed to other churches too. We should pray for the one I was holding, although it was not a big money, it was not a big amount, it was around 300 euros. I said, that is fair enough. I told my pastor, I said, but our own church, because we have a problem since 2-3 years, because I'm the one that is boldly asking him things that is happening that is not wrong. So he placed me on a temporary suspension that he didn't say it. He used diplomatic to place me on a contrary, since then we have been battling it inside. So he now give me your information of him knowing that it was just a change. He just gave me a fruit and a gift of life. He didn't know. So he mentioned your name. I said, no, I have been seeing this. Sometimes I see this man's name on the Facebook. Let me just go and watch this message. It was a Sunday evening. So that is why I cannot really remember. It was around October, end of September or beginning of October. So I started following your program, started posting it, and because we are live on Facebook, we are friends on Facebook, so that is the reason they try to stop me, but I tell they cannot. So they begged me. He said I should come back to church. I said I've gained many experience about what to do. I should come and use. I said, Pastor, I don't know if I can cope. It was on Sunday, just last week Sunday. So I'm so very happy and so very blessed. And my mentality, my reason, my kind of person before things that I feel that is right, or things that how do I say it, put it in English? The things that I know before that I cannot really bring to my knowledge. You said it all. You are saying so, opening my eyes. Other people that I have seen, people are watching as well, calling me, in Belgium here, people are watching. He told me as well, my pastor told me, he said, you know what, do you know that this message is causing confusion in churches in Europe already? The leaders are rising against the pastors in the church. I said, why? Because they were teaching bad doctrine. I said, that is the reason. I said, if they were teaching the right thing, I don't think it will cause problem. I don't think Pastor Sunday will come out of the first place because our churches here is nothing to write about. I asked him a very sensitive question. I said, why do white people don't come to our church? I said, even some of them are married to Belgium. When they come occasionally, one Sunday, 2 Sunday, they don't come. I said, we should ask questions as well. I said, is it difficult for us to change or to get the truth? He now made a parable for, he now make it stand for me. He said, like my son now, he go to school. If the teacher is teaching him wrong thing. I said, no, don't go there. I'm not a baby. I know between wrong and right. I know between what is not good and what is good. It is what we are doing that is not right. I said, we'll come to church, we just jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. I said, all of a sudden, your message changed. You were teaching the word. Now you now started prophesying. I told him, well, just looking at me because by age I'm older than you, I respect him. He's a pastor. But I have to be straightforward. I have to be open to him. He said, because they'll be wondering, I'm not becoming, you want to know if I said, those things that have passed. But this one, I don't think I can cope with the message anymore. You don't? Because I don't want anybody to stop. I don't want anybody to stop me.
They want to return you to they want to return you to prison yard.
I said I don't want because I don't find myself now standing there at the end. We just pray for 40 minutes with a prayer of prayer of ban. I said, I mean, by spirit and the way I think now, Pastor, I was thinking, yes. The whole week when I'm walking, I have innovative mind now, thinking what to do. Even in Nigeria, for this message to reach the people in the market women, the bus driver, the local people. God will just give me revelation what to do because I'm planning to go to Nigeria as well. If I can get a CD, then I will go to this bus driver, take my time, park my car, dress nice, go and meet them, talk to them. Because these people, they go to church, they are strongly, but they will go stay and give. Because these people, when these people carry the information, it will go more. When the market women, our mothers, when they carry this message, when they understand, it will go far because these are the most victims that is in the church. I think I just succeeded release my mother from paying every year. She has since only 9 years now. 9 years she has been paying a building offering every month or every 2 weeks. She don't work. I stopped her. She don't go to market because she has a little problem with her eyes. She has stopped market going to trade. It's the money I sent for her to feed and to treatment that is using to pay building offering. So I now enlighten her, telling her some things about it because last year I went with her to her church.
Everything you they send, everything you people in diaspora.
She's paying. It's not too much, about 1,000 naira. That's what she is paying because she don't have much. She's not a trader. She don't have even. She don't work. She don't do anything. It's the money, the feeding money allowance I gave her. That is what she's using.
Now church they collect them. Everything you people in diaspora they send up. Now church they collect them from your relatives. Now church they take them to.
When I was in the church, when the son of the pastor, very young boy, I know when he was very. It was just using a young boy of his 30s. I just told my mother, I said, and he now told me, he said, he wants me to go and meet the pastor to pray. I said, okay, I don't want to disobey her. So we went to his office. So everybody that just finished listening to his message, the women, they were just hanging on his corridor to see him again. So I told my mother, I said, I have so many things doing. I have so many appointments today. Let's go so that we have quiet time together. We have quality time together. He said, no, let me just see him. I don't want to argue with her. So when we now met his personal assistant, the personal assistant said, instead they will give him 10 minutes or 15 minutes to rest. I told my mother, I said, let us go. I use my dialect to tell him, let us go, please. Please, let us go. And people are waiting for me. I said, if I still see him now, I was telling my mother inside the car, I said, if I see him now, I will still give him 5,000 or 10,000 naira. I said, where's other people? That was last year. I have not started watching you. I said, where other people are there that if I give 1,000 naira, they will be very happy. And just to say it, to cause the situation, immediately before I start my car, I start moving, I saw people that knows me, my old friends, they said, I didn't even look for them. Do you know, I started giving them money. They were so happy. They were just jumping up. And I told my mother, I said, you see now, if I have gone to see the pastor now, I will even give him this money. And I will even tell him sometimes, and and he has a lot. So then I have not started watching. That was in August last year. I have not started watching him. So it is everything that is in my mind that I feel that is wrong, because I always challenge all these pastors. The church I was attending here before, the same. He was just using man to spoil every member because somebody told him about some girls. I told the pastor, I said, look, these girls, they are your present, they are your daughters now. Somebody cannot just come in and just tell you a word, and you started destroying, castigating in front of the altar. It was, I couldn't help it. It was when it was, because I was there when the guy was telling, it was a day before, 2 days before that, I was in the church, when one guy, a visitor, was just saying, oh, these young girls, that is a choir, they used to go there, they used to follow boys. So immediately it came on that on Sunday, that is where we want to use to start. So I couldn't hold it because I was there. So I just shout, I just said, Pastor, can we listen to a message? So that was about 7 or 8 years ago. That is how I found out from that pastor. Because one day he just wake up and ordain his wife. He said the wife is a pastor. So I challenged, I asked him, who ordained? So I be a kind of, I don't keep things when it's not right. I cannot keep it quiet. So I've been how do I say it?
A thorn in the flesh.
A thorn to them.
Yeah.
So my own here, he started manipulating with money issue since 2 years ago. So I confronted him last year. He called a elders meeting. He said we should talk about. People were just beating around the bush. He asked a question that I turned around him. I turned against him. He said we should say what is the problem. So everybody was just saying different. Even my wife was there. I said, Pastor, you are the problem in this church. He now drew his chair and said, Brother Peter, can you explain? I said, yeah, let me go. I said, when something happens, when somebody tells you something, or I came to ask you precisely, there's a meeting that we did, the money that you said you pay, I went to have, because I have a house here. I bought a house. I said, the people that bought a house that pay that money is Awaken. I said, you said, we rented this place, but you said we paid 1,800 euros. I said, if those agencies want to forewarn us, so we should not be Mugu. So that is the reason I went back to do my research and come back to you. I said, the day I came to you, you snub me. There's a way you react to me. So I feel slight, I feel bad. I came to you alone. I didn't tell anybody. I said that you saw that seed in my mind that there's a doubt. So I keep on referring to that. Then I make some instance again, things that he's doing and the way he's acting and everything. So since then, we have been having internal
civil war
fight. I know it. Yeah, I know it. But because of the influence that I have there, not like influence of people. Really, there are some people that people just like. That the way I act, my character, people know it here before I started going to that church. So they started notice it. So once in a while, he asked me to officiate. He will ask me to, because he's trying to use his power as a pastor to not let me to climb the people to teach again or to do something when visitors are there. They don't, I know all these things. So I gave him that long time till I started watching you. He's the one that gave me your information. I started watching your program. Then that is how, when I came back from Germany, and they want to stop me not to watch your program or to post it on the Facebook or to share it or to do anything. I say, no, they can't stop me because I'm already in a moving train. Because in Nigeria, the truth is difficult to believe. That is the problem we have in Nigeria. The truth, when nobody is truthful anymore, it's very difficult. But this truth is the truth of God. That is what will liberate Nigeria from the government to the pastors to every setup in Nigeria. There's no truth anymore. So that is the reason it's difficult for some people to understand the truth. But the truth is what is going to free us and bring Nigerians back to the glory of God.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you, Pastor. I'm so happy to know you. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. I'm so very, very blessed. I'm looking forward to see you one-on-one. And as other people have called before, they have said, I'm very, very, because I'm very passionate Nigerian. I want to contribute in any way that is possible. Ideas to, if I have an idea what I can do in the future. I'm here and I just want, because people are dying. People are dying blindly. They are dying unknowingly. They are dying silently, but they don't know. They are ignorant to the device of this so men of God. Ignorant to it. That's the reason I'm so happy now that God have sent you and preparing you to liberate the children of God, the Nigerians from these evil men of pastors, because there are so many. They are the same. Most of 99% in Nigeria, they are the same. Even here in Belgium, all this Europe, they are all the same, because they just, that is the love of money they have. They don't have anything. They don't have. I started looking. They don't have one single love for you if you are not giving in the church. If you are not giving, they don't have one single. They don't care. They don't care. When you are not giving, they will notice you. You write name on your tithe. Now, if it's not complete, they will come and ask you. No, it's so annoying and so disturbing. I never knew that in my lifetime I will listen to a man of God. I will see a man of God like you. I never think about it. I never imagine it. I'm so very happy. God will bless you.
There is hope for Nigeria.
To protect you.
There is hope for Nigeria. Hope there.
Yes, I'm very sure. I'm a very positive person. I believe. Okay. And I believe it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Peter. God bless. Bye. Kaput. Finish. So. All right, guys. I think that's it for today. We've got to round it up today, and we'll be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Peace.